competition renewed every single week. It's not for everyone, only for those who are ready. The best of esports are here. Because this is TETO Games always on. The game never stops.
Evet beyler, yeni skinleri gördünüz mü? Gördüm. Al ve sona yakışar mı? Gördüm beyler. Al ve sona yakışar mı?
Ya beyler.
Abi ya. Abi şimdi
Ben sev...
TETO Games.
Aynen. Ya şimdi vardı senin başına çok önce.
Tamam. Gidiyorum.
Sen de ay deseniz hala.
TETO Games aynı.
Ahmet'i de aldın dur.
Abi ben çekemem ben de bir şanssız ya.
Every game has a beginning, but some never truly end. Time never stops here. Opponents change, but the stage always stays open. This is not just an ordinary tournament. This is competition renewed every single week. It's not for everyone, only for those who are ready. The best of esports are here. Because this is TETO Games always on. The game never stops.
Evet beyler, yeni skinleri gördünüz mü? Gördüm. Al ve sona yakışar mı? Gördüm beyler. Al ve sona yakışar mı?
Ya beyler.
Abi ya. Abi şimdi
Ben sev...
TETO Games.
Aynen. Ya şimdi vardı senin başına çok önce.
Tamam. Gidiyorum.
Sen de ay deseniz hala.
TETO Games aynı.
Ahmet'i de aldın dur.
Abi ben çekemem ben de bir şanssız ya.
Every game has a beginning, but some never truly end. Time never stops here. Opponents change, but the stage always stays open. This is not just an ordinary tournament. This is competition renewed every single week. It's not for everyone, only for those who are ready. The best of esports are here. Because this is TETO Games always on. The game never stops.
Evet beyler, yeni skinleri gördünüz mü? Gördüm. Al ve sona yakışar mı? Gördüm beyler. Al ve sona yakışar mı?
Ya beyler.
Abi ya. Abi şimdi
Ben sev...
TETO Games.
Aynen. Ya şimdi vardı senin başına çok önce.
Tamam. Gidiyorum.
Sen de ay deseniz hala.
TETO Games aynı.
Ahmet'i de aldın dur.
Abi ben çekemem ben de bir şanssız ya.
Every game has a beginning, but some never truly end. Time never stops here. Opponents change, but the stage always stays.
What's up, everyone, and welcome back to the always on Poland PUBG Mobile monthly grand final. This is season 2, day 2, aka, like I like to say, day number last, right? We are getting ready to see what our teams are going to be bringing in today. My name is DK, and this over here is Neptura. She's going to be accompanying me today to take you through all the hot insanity that is going to be coming through on the battlefield. Nep, how you doing today?
I'm doing very well, DK. I'm ready to get into the action. As if it wasn't hot enough here in the middle of summer, the action is going to be heating up tremendously in the next 5 games. I'm very excited to see who's going to come out on top, just because I think we had a lot of action in the last day, in yesterday's games.
Yeah.
Today, it's going to be even more so.
Yep, that's why I put a jersey on, right? Because it's so hot in here, so I'm excited to see what the teams are going to be bringing in. But yeah, looking forward to it. Of course, today is going to be very similar to yesterday with regards to progression as to the map rotation and all such. But we are going to be taking a look at who is sitting where. As you can see, we've got one for all right at the very top of the board, followed closely by the aggressors. And so this is an interesting shift from what we saw happening over onto the Romanian side that we had last week, right? It's quite a bit of a shift in the dynamic. But, yeah, surprisingly enough, though, we have still a few teams over on that right-hand side that I'd like to see kind of migrate over on towards the left-hand edge.
Mm-hmm. Who would those be?
Definitely go with Ozrox, Roscar, Motion, right? Even, I would say, the BRBA, right? They're so close. 1 point away to catching up, stopping some magma flows.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for me, definitely BRBA is going to be one of those because they have kept up with the rest of the crowd. We've seen them a lot of the time in these in the games. They were there, they were aggressive, they were being very present in the games. They had a lot of control. Just 8 placement points, not really able to really get those placements. Switch it over onto paper. Not really able to get it down on paper and transfer that strategy into points, but. It's still all to play for. Like you said, it's 1 point behind. Amix as well has got like 4 or 5 points to really get up there. They had a bit of a I just want to say more of a harder day, right? We saw them from time to time, but it didn't really work out for them.
Yeah, I mean, I really like to see teams go from being seen time to time to being a little bit more aggressive, right? Like try and steal the spotlight maybe potentially, but I gotta say overall the teams have been actually quite balanced with regards to how the performances have been happening on the battlefield, right? There's not been one particular team on a map that has been able to dominate it too much in comparison to what we've been seeing come through from the rest of the squad. So I really like that balance. I like that kind of trade-off here, but I want to see the teams really step it up, bring in a few surprise performances. And of course, they've now had a full day of play to assess the competition, to figure out where the opposing teams go, how they play, how they rotate. And I want to see that be applied, right? Because exactly as Max and I said over on the Romanian side this is a good opportunity for teams to really try out tactics and kind of figure out how to best compete against squads, right? Kind of how their strategies measure up. Are those tactics useful? Can they actually get to where they want to go? Can they accomplish what they want to try and achieve here? Or does it need a little bit of tweaking, right? I think this is a phenomenal opportunity for teams to really kind of hammer that out and at the same time get a share of the prize pool, because as we know, only the top 6 teams are going to be walking away with that share of the prize pool. So especially if you're landing spot number 1, that is 1,000 euro going your way. So yeah, try and chase it.
Yeah, absolutely. You gotta chase it as much as possible. And I think we're seeing a lot of teams that are very ready to do so, right? Especially when we're talking about getting onto that rondo. And I think the first game coming up is really going to set the pace for the rest of the game, or rest of the day, rather. You get so much more opportunity for those elimination points, of course, but I think it's just a far more aggressive and motivational map in general. And so for me, I'm kind of like, okay, well, if a team wants to do well, wants to either stay in the top 1 or be the new top 1 by the end of the day, you really got to make sure that rondo is going very, very well for you, because the momentum you can gain from winning or doing very well in that rondo is going to help you so much.
Yeah, so rondo is going to be the match to be, right? The one where you want to get as aggressive as you possibly can, potentially, right? But play that with strategy, because we've seen a lot of those revive angles being utilized. Teams sending 3 players in one direction, sending their savior over in the other direction, right? They want to bring them all back. So I think there's also a bit of an interesting dynamic that could be happening with regards to that, right? If you target those players, the solos that go out to the recall stations, right? Kind of try and focus on those. Yes, are you robbing yourself from a few potential additional eliminations? Yes, maybe. But also remember, when the players come in, they do have a little bit of gear, but not a lot of gear. So there is a very cheeky opportunity for you to take down a whole squad all in one fell swoop. So I'm curious to see if we'll see any of those kind of dynamics or tactics actually being utilized. Not necessarily here, but I just want to see it in general a little bit more.
And another thing I'm going to be looking for is, are we going to be getting any of those hot drops on Miramar? Because it's a little bit further on in the day, but yesterday, I mean, both Miramars, we saw a lot of clashes very early on. So we'll be definitely be interested to see if that's something that will continue into today. I doubt it will, just because of it's the final day. It'll be the final two games at that point. So the teams are probably going to want to play it a little bit more slowly, a little bit more carefully. But it is definitely a question that I'm going to be asking myself and watching to see how the teams are really acting, to see if maybe that's going to be a possibility.
Yeah, definitely going to be looking forward to it. Of course, yesterday you proved again that when you call something out, it kind of starts to happen out on the battlefield. But one thing that you were talking about is you said Ozrocks are going to really step it up on Miramar, right? We did see an attempt happening yesterday, but I want to really see them push that, right? Like, really make that become reality. I want to see them just going out there and trying to upset a few squads with the performance once we eventually make it over on towards Miramar. But they could even start before that. I think especially at the start of the day, game number 1, as you said, Rondo, great opportunity for teams to really try and reclaim quite a few points. This would be that exact starting place for them to try and do that. I mean, you could extend the same to not only Ozrocks, but Amex, you could motion, kill for win, you could put Rosecar in there as well as in the zone. And then, of course, the players we saw come through from the side of team. So I think there's a lot to look forward to here. And of course, we are going to be heading into our first match very, very soon, as we're just making sure that all the plants are where they are. Usually these trees have a tendency to kind of run about, especially over in bamboo, right? They really start to overgrow the area, and so you have to bring them back down, because those bamboo shoots, they grow a meter in a day. That is insane.
Yeah, they do. They really do. But will the points grow by a meter? Does that make sense? Will the points for those teams grow? Is that yeah, I'm gonna say it does. That worked. That definitely worked. And yeah, it's gonna be an interesting one to see. Do you have any predictions for this next game, though, DK?
In particular, not necessarily, right? I want to see action. I want to see a little bit of sweatiness, and of course, we know that's going to happen on Rondo. So I just want to see the teams really giving it their all. Coming into the start of the day here, this is, of course, the last day, the final 5 matches they have to play. So I want to see everything kind of just laid out on the battlefield, right? Just kind of come in and hit as hard as you can. That's what I want to see. And have fun. That's the important part, right? Have fun while doing that. Kick some butt and have some fun.
That's fair. That is very fair indeed, as I think we're getting straight into our first game of the evening. That's what I'm hearing in my little ear. I think they were going in. Yes, here we go. Rondo number 1, kicking things off here. For me, I kind of want One for All to win. I really want to see them be able to set the stride and coming through and just being, the standard for day number 2. They've done so well to be on top of the leaderboard after 5 games yesterday. I really need them to just make a presence for themselves in game number 1.
Yeah, kind of go out there and make some noise, but the right kind of noise. Right? I think that is going to be the aim, the name of the game, right? The aim of the player that you want to try and go for here. So curious to see how all of that is going to pan out. But yep, taking a look at it, we have our lovely 2 flight paths. I like that it's been a little bit more consistent, getting those dual paths coming through. The teams definitely having decent options with regards to where they want to go. But we are going to be centering up right down to that position just south of Stadium. So Yulin and Test Track, as per usual, is going to be receiving quite a bit of love. And Ching, though, is going to be nice and open for the teams to get themselves situated. So let's see how this one gets rolling.
We will see indeed. Wait, Motion's already out. Whoa. Hang on, Motion is already out here.
Yep.
Okay, so that is a big one. I mean, we did mention, or you mentioned Motion at the very beginning of the broadcast, right? Magma also trying to do things. I mean, this is what happens when you're in Yulin, apparently. There's a lot of stuff going on already. A lot of teams dropping Team Germany down to a duo, but all's not down and out yet. Mountain, unfortunately, unable to get that recall going, so that's why they're out. Everybody else, though, should be okay for the most part. Magma really coming in hot. I want to say Magma, I mean, they're in 6th place right now, right? They're tied with Cam for 30 points. For me, Magma have really stepped up in certainly the second half of yesterday, and we're starting to see them be really good fraggers coming into day 2 already. I mean, a full squad wipe, maybe that's not, you know, an entire squad, but 4 elims coming in here. We saw 20 being able to do a lot of work as a solo yesterday as well. So definitely going to have my eye on them coming into today, really.
Yeah, I think there's a lot to look forward to, and of course still quite a bit of contention all across this map, but Amex now also trying to get a little bit more of that flourish going here. They've got 3 eliminations up, still have the full squad on their feet. But are they going to be able to contest those pressure points up in the Neox factory? Quick. Try and gather as much information here as he possibly can. Also could potentially have an angle there over on towards Ozrox. Oh, cheeky angle there on in the zone. Goats just trying to evade the spray. The pressure really starting to mount here. And Ozrox, I like this off-angle position that they've got, right? Blue, that could definitely be quite a strong angle to try and leverage. But of course now Shooter is going to try and threaten that. Quick is going to be looking over to that Ozrox end. So he could be looking at a bit of a 3-way fight here. Melas has been taken out. So that puts Ozrox down to at least a 2-piece up here in Neox factory. Looking at what we can see on the board there, of course, their third has moved out, looking to go over for that recall. So now, the Caliphate, this is their opportunity also to step it up. 721 also starting to light it up in that feed. But I like the pressure here over in Neox. And of course, especially the fact that it's in zone, means that these teams can continue to fight all the way into phase number 2.
Yeah, that's very true, actually. It's a good point that you make here, because Neox, I think we've not really seen a Neox get stagnant like you do on Picado, for instance. So that's going to be interesting to see what ends up happening when they have a much longer space of time to be able to do things. With Magma, though, having a little bit of a hard time here. You have Star on the inside. I feel like we saw this fight happen yesterday. Ooh! Peppa. Or Para, rather, not Peppa. Para, rather. Squealing his way out of the building there. Too hot to handle. Gonna have to reload, recheck. Gets one. That's very nice. Gonna try and flush that away. I mean, you can do, right? That's the whole point. Everybody is gonna be recalled anyway, so might as well get as many points as possible. But it really feels like a 2v4 at this point, a 2v3. Not sure that there's really anything they can do here. Just gonna try and smoke it up, but yeah, I think the best course of action is really just to disengage, as you're seeing now. But Para goes out. Oh, there's a window, a ledge that they didn't think they were on there, but yeah, somebody definitely is. So now this is the real problem here, DKs. Puma is stuck under here.
Yeah, I mean, the closest Pepper, as you said, game 2 was being peppered by the sprays, but now it's gonna be Puma stepping up to help Para out a little bit. Is going to go in for that res, just looking to buy themselves a little bit of time here, but there's still 3 teams held up here in Yulin. The rest of Magma, of course, now all the way back in safety. So those recalls have come through. It is going to be the push. 721 is going to be looking to go all out here. I like the spread coming through from 721. Spidey, though, has been traded. Puma getting lifted, and out he goes. So Magma still having all their players in the match as soon as those recalls come through. But it is a good day here for 721, already sitting with those 3 eliminations up. That is really going to help their situation to try and catch up with One for All. But an interesting position that we saw coming through from One for All, right? They've actually been kind of just keeping themselves a little bit more distant, not necessarily getting all too involved. I say that, and Nabuni is right up in the mix, up in center zone alongside the players there from BRBA. So the rest of the team, though, taking a slightly different approach, as McQueen and everybody else is going to look to roll on forward. Now, still back in Neox. Blue keeping a nice steady angle here. Just waiting to see if you can find anything to work with, as players there from Caliphate are going to be moving up. We do see even more rotations coming in here, as 721 could also maybe look to do a little bit of something, but of course we have them much further away over on towards the opposite side of the map. One for All now. Here we go. Ooh, the sprays are in. Not quite sure why they decided to park on the hill, but hey, if it works, it works. And now they quickly got to move. because there's more players in the surrounding area. So this might be a short-lived play if they're not careful about the way they push through this, as BRBA are going to be looking to close up that gap.
Oh dear, yeah. They saw an opportunity for an Elam and they took it, but unfortunately there's at least 2 other teams in this area. Now, thankfully, you can put your teammate in the vehicle and just get out of there, so I think that's what they're going to try and do here. Off they go. Hopefully they're going to be able to get him back pretty quickly here. But they have to be very careful, right? They've got 2 eliminations. They knew they had to do something because 721, like you said, they're really catching up with those 3 Elams they've got. It's making it a tough battle for one rather to really do anything and catch up, stay ahead, just to stay ahead, because 721, they are on a tear at the moment. You can see now over onto RS. They're going to be looking in this center area as well. One for All is like, no, we're still here. We're just in the safety of a compound now. Ramon, oh, feels the burn. There he goes. Frizz going to be taking him down there. That should be 1 more point over. But this is where One for All have to be very careful. I feel like they're making a slight mistake here because they feel a little desperate. They're looking like they're just trying to get any eliminations however they can. If they have a player on recall, then fine. But what I'm seeing here is these solos kind of splitting up and just overextending just a little bit too much here.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of a flustered play coming through here from them, right? Trying to establish that the dominance at the top of the leaderboard might be a thing here for them, but it does seem like they are going to be, at least for the time being, just leaving Frizz here to kind of fend for himself. Not the best place to be in, but look at the spray though coming through from Blue, heading straight down into King. Here we go, the wrap-up is in. That is going to be Ozrox feeling comfortable as they now just keep on raking in those eliminations, already up to 6. Blue doing a phenomenal job here as they quickly relocate over up to Bamboo. King still going to be present over in that Neox factory region. Or rather, he was a little bit earlier on. Now let's take a look here at Cam Army. As McQueen has been spotted out, One for All now feeling the heat, the pressure. It all starts to mount up. You can't be caught out in the open like that. And this is where I think One for All needs to be careful that they don't move about carelessly, right? You don't want to waste an opportunity. You really want to try and drive this one as far as you can. And I mean, even with a 4-point lead like they have right now, they can't really afford too many mistakes.
No, they can't. It's not close enough, right? And even if we're not not far enough, rather, and even if we're not talking about 721, you've got Big Baby right behind them. I mean, that's only, what, 24 points behind? It's with a Rondo still ongoing and 4 more games after this. That's a really easy point gap to overcome, especially if One for All decide or just not have the day that they wanted, right? If they're just feeling a little bit of that pressure a little bit too much. But we will see. Not all is lost yet. I think they should still have a recall ready to go for them. So we'll see if that can be the case here. But for now, they are going to be just a duo. Not sure where they actually are. One for All. Let me check here. Oh yeah, it does look like they're going for a recall onto the eastern side. So we should be able to see them as a full squad once again pretty soon here, but RS continuing to make some moves here. 1 elimination on the board, 14th place. They've not got too far actually to get into those 20s, and once you get into the 20s, then into the 30s, right? Because I think the numbers here, the point numbers are actually very close. 18 to 25 is a little bit of a gap, but then you got 26, 26, 30, 31. Like, it's very, very close indeed. So for RS, it's still possible to get up quite a bit. Oh, but the Caliphate are going to be taken out. Our second team to go out, 4th place team. 1 point on the board only. I'm not sure what happened there, but they just got picked apart, DK.
Yeah, definitely did quite a bit. So, yep, there's not a lot of bounce back they can do from that point, right? They do have 40 points on the board, so not the worst spot to be in. But they're going to have to bring it all together once we get into our subsequent games here. The southern side is going to be an interesting edge to try and play through, as, of course, the zone pulled a little bit more up towards that northeastern edge. Ozrock still back with a full squad, as they're going to look to rotate and wrap up into the next available spot here. Already 6 eliminations under their belt. Definitely not a bad day at the office. But let's see, can they make anything happen with their position up in towards the north, right? We do see the players there from in the zone also holding up right alongside them, but especially now moving into stadium and, of course, the area that we have ahead. There could be some very sneaky tactics being deployed by Ozrox if they use these mountains well.
Absolutely, I really like what we're seeing here. They're really setting up for the end game, and they're looking to potentially control a large portion of the northern side if that zone goes in their favor. Which it's entirely possible that it could do really just over by stadium. It's not often we do get a stadium finish, but it's possible as we continue to go over to that northeastern side. And yeah, we are going to be seeing that coming on through here. Let's see, down to the south side. Now this is going to be an interesting fight because notice how nobody is in stadium. There's nobody there. Nobody likes that city. It's really hard to play, and it's really hard to get out of if you need to. So all these teams are really kind of going to be clustered together, and this is why you're seeing a lot of those fights break out over onto those hills tops. RS continuing to try and control this as much as possible. 2 eliminations on the board now. A lot of mobility coming in from this team. I like it.
Yeah, I actually wouldn't be surprised if a team like Ozrox decided to rotate up into stadium and go onto the stadium roof itself. Right, because that does provide you quite a bit of a vantage point, especially for the team surrounding you. And you have got that large wall, right? That big wall they could use as a bit of a barrier to try and kind of just relegate the fights that are ahead of you. But that might not even be happening here, as we've only got 2, potentially 3 teams up towards the northern side of the zone. Everybody else is situated down on the southern edge. So I'm curious to see exactly how this is going to pan out, as Big Baby just trying to kind of huddle up on the edge here. They do have 1 ahead of them. They've got RS also just on their side. And then, of course, EA7 coming through on their western front. So they've got to be very cautious, very selective with where they choose to rotate to, right? They could either go for an aggressive play, or they could look to just kind of flush their way through and get more into that center zone. Go for, let's say, the stadium overwatch towers.
My goodness me, we've got a big potluck happening here, though. It's all going down. Magma, full squad coming in. A couple of them pretty low here. Moving on through, and that's another player going really, really low. The nades are just flying through. Unfortunately, this is a very nadeable compound, but you see all of a sudden we got 4 different teams all in this teeny tiny little area. And that is not going to be fun at all. One for all, taking full advantage of the chaos here. Love this coming in from them. If they can just hold it down, the trade is 1 for 1. Can they get another one? We'll have to see, but a great use of the 2-2 split here, and a great use of these towers, right? Or not towers, these mountains. Really good high ground for them. I like to see that, but it does look like Frizz did get taken out. He got flushed away, unfortunately, so 1 for all. Again, we just feel... You had a great word for it earlier, DK. It was flustered. They feel like they're flustered.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what the play is there and what the reason is for that, because, I mean, they're already holding on to good position. So maybe they just feel a little bit, I don't know, overwhelmed by sitting at the top of the board, right? I think it's completely fair to feel something like that, especially if you're playing for 1,000 euros for pole position, right? So there is quite a bit at stake here. So I like it to the extent that the team is aware of kind of where they are, right? But I don't want that to be a deciding factor in how they kind of pace their way through these matches, right? Curious to see whether or not they can kind of bounce back from that position. In the meantime, it is going to be in the zone. Looking to contest Ozrox as they come pushing over the rocks. Oh, Goats looking for the heads, but not landing any. Instead, getting met by quite a few. As this is now a full showdown, a 3v4. Who's going to be the one to lock it in? Ozrox trying to assert their dominance here. So far, it is looking quite risky for the side of in the zone. 1 player on his knees, Dark and Goats. Final 2 to try and keep it together. We got to watch out. Team Germany are going to be rolling up right behind them. So the pressure is going to be very, very thick at this point.
Isn't it just? Oh my goodness. And as if that wasn't enough, the zone is now moving in as well. Slowly, albeit, but it is enough to really think about these teams and how much pressure that's putting on their minds. With great nade coming through here, just trying to finish up as much of that team as possible, try to get this reset as much as possible, as quickly as possible. Because, yeah, that was definitely Team Germany looking for an opportunity there. Have to be very careful as that fight continues in that Elam feed. We are over with Star, though. Kill for win. And they're going to be just mowing through Magma. My goodness me. Switching to the S12K. Doesn't quite get the second Elim, though. There we go. 33Z. Going to have to be satisfied with that one. Ooh, but maybe South can do something here. 20 going on down, getting taken out from ahead there as well. And that's going to be Magma potentially out. Yes, that's them completely out here. Just being eradicated from the lobby just like that.
Yeah, Soul really had a lot of soul pushing through that one. Really liked what happened. But now, there's a little bit of peace and tranquility at least coming through on that southeastern side of Zone. But this gives a team like Star, aka Kill for Win, the opportunity to kind of just reassess the situation, come up with that next roll through, as of course they've been brought down to a 2-piece, so it's going to be up to Obito and his teammate to see if they can kind of keep this momentum flowing. Ozorox, though, 10 eliminations already under their belt. They are looking to push those standings. I like this new Ozorox here for today. It's like all they needed was just a few hours of rest before coming in and bringing all the heat that they can muster. But Blue, I gotta say, so far doing a phenomenal job. 6 eliminations as a solo, looking absolutely phenomenal. But now, can they follow through, right? Can they push it all the way to the end and get their hands on that winner chicken dinner?
The way they're looking now, it's entirely possible, especially when you're looking at the center position that they have in this new zone. We are going to a very rare area. Don't see this one very often. And they will be taking control of a little bit of that high ground. Of course, as I say that, one dead, one down might be a little bit more difficult for them. It's not high ground, it's a dip, it looks like. At least some open area. Team Germany, the next to feel a little bit of that heat, and that's going to be now just Melaz on his own. I should really stop talking about them. Because there we go. That's going to be one more down. Blue, he's going to try and get Blue. Why does he stop the car there, though? That is interesting. Another smoke being popped up here. But he does see that Team Germany and another team are going head-to-head here. A-Mix around the outside on the mini-map as well. Got to be careful of that, but it looks like they're going to actually just bypass that. They're going for that high ground. They're going for the north, and this is about to be a three-way fight.
Yeah, I like this coming through from A-Mix, though, looking to kind of also just secure their position here. But it doesn't seem like they're overly committed to going north, right? Instead, they are just going to be trolling around, looking to see where that next entry point could be and how to contest it, as Havlik and the rest of the squad now falls back down towards that southern side. They're going toe-to-toe here with RSC. Gotta watch out for that pressure point as Zem is quickly just moving the vehicle out of harm's way, just trying to fortify the position they have here because they can hear the onslaught coming. As Amex now starts to move up default, looking to ride the ridge. Not the easiest angle to go through here, but he's got that nade. Oh, the shot's connecting up. Always got to watch those angles. A little bit of terraforming happening. They like this though. It is looking pretty exciting, but can Amex get the angles they need here? Also sitting on 10 eliminations, so 2 squads now on the double digits. But is that going to be enough? Zeptorix also coming through here with a bit of a cheeky angle. So you got Zem, Vlad, both just kind of keeping themselves out of harm's way, trying to avoid those utilities, utilizing the dips and the ditches created by all the carnage. Unfortunately, Vlad not going to be able to stand. He goes right on down. Zem, following his teammate back into the lobby, but this is Amex's opportunity to shine now. 11 eliminations under their belt, toe-to-toe with Ozorox, but this is where things look quite favorable for them because they have such controlling numbers. And I mean, 721, they also have 4 players up, but they are in a completely different situation, right? They are going to get absolutely pincered by that lobby. So I think here we could be looking at players from the side of T71 potentially looking to apply a little bit of that pressure with Amex then closing up that southern side.
Yeah, this is really shaping up to be a very interesting end game here as Melaz goes out. That's going to be Ozorox, I think, done and dusted. I don't see another player for them anywhere. So that's going to be, yep, just the top 4 here. Ozarok's a really good run when it comes to those elims, but just unlucky in those placements. Gonna have to be happy with a top 5. BRBA, another team that's, we talked about them before the start of the game, but we haven't seen too much from them. You can see that they've lost 1, they've got 3 points on the board so far, and they're just gonna be looking to do something from that south side. Still entirely possible, but they are one of the only teams. Only 721 also has 3 players, right? So we've got 2 full squads on the map here, and well, maybe not for much longer. Team Germany and AMX, those 2 full squads, they're going at each other. They're trying to get that control, and Team Germany have really weaseled their way into the north side here. They've been pretty quiet. Yes, they have 6 eliminations on the board, but we haven't seen them go crazy, right? I think these are eliminations that have been picked up, you know, from time to time all over the course of the map. It's not in all one big fight or anything like that. So they're going to be looking now to solidify that, try and get that win, because we saw them do that yesterday, right? Twice. They had some great eliminations in the first half of the game, and then they just fizzled out in a spectacular form. So hopefully for them, this is going to be a turn of events here.
Well, let's hope to see that. I gotta say though, Amex doing a really, really great job here. Yesterday, they were able to secure themselves 20 eliminations throughout the entire day. Today, they are sitting on 13 eliminations, so already hitting more than half of the total eliminations they were able to secure on that first day. So things are looking pretty good here for them. In fact, actually, we've got a few teams that have been super consistent with regards to elims, right? It's just when it comes to placement points that things turn out to be a little bit more challenging. So I like what Amex is doing here. I like where their heads are at. But let's see if they can lock in here. Germany also being one of those very consistent performing squads that we saw from yesterday. Of course, starting the day off all the way over in 5th position. Now sitting with 6 eliminations up. Kashi has definitely been looking to carry the team forward here. As, well, Team Germany could really do with even more aggression. I like how they kind of just literally digging themselves a few holes, right? It's like, yeah. Oh, I can actually see over the ridge here. No, I gotta go a little bit further down to try and ride out this next phase to see where it's gonna be going. But 721, interesting position. Curious to see how they're gonna look to rotate out of this if the zone is gonna pressure them to move. But for the time being, actually a somewhat decent position, right? The compound there, not necessarily providing them a whole lot to work with, but it gives them the opportunity for the opposing teams to actually get distracted and focus on each other. So, in a sense, that's kind of a big brain play.
It is, yeah. I mean, it's kept them out of a lot of the action, right? Which you might say, oh, well, that's, you know, especially on Rondo, you want to be part of the action, but not when you're in the top 4. You got to let those other teams move in, do their thing, do what they need to do before you know, then you get a team that's wounded when it comes to getting to you, because they're still in center zone right now. The stage 7 has popped. All of those teams have to move into 721's position. So do they have probably the lowest count of elims of any of the teams still here? Yes. Do they have less players than anybody else? Yes. But they have control of a compound, of high ground, and of angles, and that's going to be really, really important.
Let's see if they can give us a masterclass in defending center zone. As Amex now is going to be trying to push their luck. They do get the pickup over on towards Dennis now. Securing themselves their 14th elimination. Default, only a knock, not a finish just yet. And there's still quite a bit of hope for the side here of Amex as they slowly start to advance. I'm curious whether or not they are going to try and contest potentially the players here from BRBA just ahead of them. As 721 are really looking to kind of fortify their position, right? You can see Team Germany pushing up and they are going to get stopped. Won't be allowed entry onto this lovely little island we have in the middle of zone. But Spidey got to watch it on that side, right? You don't want to get caught out as the pushes come through. Or BRBA fighting a two-way fight, fighting on the defensive angle and looking to get aggressive. But this is where the numbers help for Amex as the shots collide, and that is it. Now really helping to alleviate so much pressure. Down to 3 we go. Amex, though, all the way up to 16 eliminations.
Aren't they just? My goodness me, a really good push there. Yes, they get 2 knocked there, but it doesn't matter. They saw a weak spot, they saw an opportunity, and they took it. Now, the question is, how are they going to go up against 721? Because 721, they know exactly where they are. Great nade coming in there from Rorino. And that's just going to be Havlik just basically on his own. I mean, look at the rest of his players. They're either completely down or 1 HP. So Amix might have to cut their journey short here, as Havlik also is going to go ahead, go down to the ground, and that's going to be it. Done, dusted. I'm pretty sure Team Germany, though, taking advantage of the fight going on the south side. Look at them. They completely infiltrated this area. Down they go. Coming on through. Oh, they get stuck on the... Oh, no, they get stuck on the door. Gentleman goes down to 1 HP. Kashi gets knocked there, just giving 721 just a little bit of time. A little bit of a regroup, but there's somebody over there. They know where he is, and it looks like Team Germany... Never mind, I'm not going to talk about Team Germany. I was going to say it might look like they're here for a win, and down to they are to just a solo. TK, help me out here.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely the opportunity that Amex has been waiting for, right? All the pressure getting relegated over onto the side here of Germany. 721 also just holding on by an absolute slither. As you can see, Spidey is going to go down. Koji now is going to be the last one left to defend. But fortunately, he is not in that pressure situation, right? He has rotated over towards the eastern side. But I like what Amex did here. They capitalized on the available opportunity, kind of snuck their way into contention here. And all they got to do now is just keep a level head. Focus on the objective at hand. And maybe try sneak a cheeky finish over onto the side there of Team Germany. Aggressor definitely could lend quite a bit of assistance here to the advances from Amex, as they're pretty much pulling the side of Team Germany over on towards the eastern edge. But it is going to be phase 9 that is going to hit right in a few moments. So this is where Koji needs to find a way. Can he distract Team Germany long enough for Amex to move up, spike rather, default just on the verge, trying to push their way on through, but quick. So still playing a little bit of that elevated position. So I like the information gathering they're doing here. But Germany, they've been granted so much time to kind of get themselves in a much stronger position. But it's going to be go time as stage 9 is upon them. They have to move. It's nothing but zone closures. The utilities are coming through. And this is where that compound could actually bite them in the back. As, well, Germany in a very accessible position here for Amex. Amex just needs to find the angle, find the approach, and 1 or 2 well-placed nades could absolute disaster for Team Germany.
Could indeed. Team Germany were here yesterday. They were in that second place position, and they had to be satisfied with it. Can they make it a win here right now? Now, Amex have 19 eliminations, so part of me is like, get the 20 bomb. You gotta do it, right? But Germany... Both these teams are in need of a win here. Germany, just because of those double second places yesterday. Amex, because they genuinely do need those points. They really need to catch up on those leaderboards if they want any sort of chance in the top 6 here. So this is a fantastic game from them. You know, 13 more eliminations than Germany has right now. Oh, maybe not make that. Potentially 7 there. Great nade coming through here. But Amex... they gotta do something here. They're using those nades as an entry point, as a way in, but not when you're just gonna go down. You're going 1 by 1. DK Amix losing the plot just a little bit here. They thought they could go just 1 by 1 like that, trying to hedge their bets, and in fact, that might just be the reason why they're down entirely, why they have to go down entirely. The zone is not going to be merciful here. It is going to go continue to go on out. He's going to try and get something down to 1 HP. Can he get the other one? Somehow makes it inside, and now it's a 1v2. Surely you're going to flush. Yep, that's going to be the flush there. That makes it 20. We do have a 20 bomb here. Gentleman going to be that one on board. Can he get another one? Yes, he can. It's a 1v1. He's done it. Can he get it another time? They're both down to 1 HP. That's going to be the truce. Just the truce of, hey, let's just heal up here real quick. But now it is on. Game time is going. One more stun. In the bag! Oh. And it's not going to happen. Team Germany finally get their win. They are done. They are ready to go. Great win coming in from them.
I mean, that's amazing for both squads, right? Germany doing an absolute phenomenal job on the defensive. But Amex, they doubled their points from yesterday in 1 match. Yesterday they had 26 points. They now have 26 points in this game as well. So absolute insanity coming through from the side of Amex. That is how you bounce back. But of course, big congratulations going out to the side of Germany. It was a little bit too close for comfort, but I like what Germany was doing there is kind of just keeping themselves spread out, right? Constantly moving from position to position, making it very difficult for Amex to predict where they would be. But yeah, let's take a look and see just how much of a disruption this performance from both Team Germany and Amex has brought into the overall standings.
Ooh. Oh, okay. Amix shooting up into the top 4 here, DK. My goodness me. We knew it'd be a lot, but by this much, it's kind of crazy. Right behind Team Germany, just a 5-6 point lead there. That is going to be now a big conversation going forward into the Ehrengals.
Yeah, I mean, Amex, that is a phenomenal bit of work that they've been able to do there. We got to look at Team Germany as well, right? Amex went from being somewhere over on the right-hand side to now sitting right there alongside the team that they were fighting for possession here. But I like what I'm seeing also from the side of Amex, right? That performance puts them exactly on par with the 721 aggressors. Both squads sitting on 40 eliminations apiece. Wow. So it shows you there's no major work that needs to be done with regards to aggression. They have the aggression. But now they got to lock in those placement points, right? Big Baby having the exact same amount of placement points as Amex has been able to secure so far as well. So I like where this is going. But yeah, the team's definitely trying to play for a major upset here. In the zone, though, having a bit of a bumpy ride there, right? Of course, only walking away with a grand total of 14 points. They started the day off with 14 points, so they got a few bubbles along the way. Bubbles are fun, but not in PUBG. You don't want bubbles in PUBG, right? You want those bubbles to be converted into points. But yeah, a very exciting play. I like what Germany were doing as well as Team Magma, right? Magma also just trying to get a little bit more aggressive, trying to push. We had so many more teams going for those big tallies. So I like where this is heading. And of course, I'm curious to see how that's going to translate over into Ehrengale. So only one way for us to find out. We're going to head into a break, and we'll see you on the other side.
Is open. This is not just an ordinary tournament. This is competition renewed every single week. It's not for everyone, only for those who are ready. The best of esports are here. Because this is TETO Games always on. The game never stops.
Evet beyler, yeni skinleri gördünüz mü? Gördüm. Al ve son yakışmaz mı? Gördüm beyler. Al ve son yakışmaz mı?
Ya beyler.
Abi gel. Abi şimdi de
Ben sev...
TETO Games.
Aynen. Ya şimdi vardı senin başına geçirmeyeceğim.
Tamam. Gidiyorum.
Sen de ay deseni sonra.
TETO Games aynı.
Anneni de aldın dur.
Abi çekiyorum ben de bir şanssız ya.
Every game has a beginning, but some never truly end. Time never stops here. Opponents change, but the stage always stays open. This is not just an ordinary tournament. This is competition renewed every single week. It's not for everyone, only for those who are ready. The best of esports are here. Because this is TETO Games always on. The game never stops.
Evet beyler, yeni skinleri gördünüz mü? Gördüm. Al ve son yakışmaz mı? Gördüm beyler. Al ve son yakışmaz mı?
Ya beyler.
Abi gel. Abi şimdi de
Ben sev...
TETO Games.
Aynen. Ya şimdi Mardin'sin başka geçirmeyeceğim.
Tamam. Gidiyorum.
Sen de ay deseniz hala.
TETO Games aynı.
Ben çekemem ben de bir şanssız ya.
Every game has a beginning, but some never truly end. Time never stops here. Opponents change, but the stage always stays open. This is not just an ordinary tournament. This is competition renewed every single week. It's not for everyone, only for those who are ready. The best of esports are here. Because this is TETO Games always on. The game never stops.
Evet beyler, yeni skinleri gördünüz mü? Gördüm. Al ve sona yakışmaz mı? Gördüm beyler. Al ve sona yakışmaz mı?
Ya beyler.
Abi ya. Abi şimdi ben sev.
TETO Games.
Aynen. Ya şimdi Mardin'sin başka geçirmeyeceğim.
Tamam. Gidiyorum.
Sen de ay deseniz hala.
TETO Games aynı.
Abi ben çekemem ben de bir şanssız ya.
Every game has a beginning, but some never truly end. Time never stops here. Opponents change, but the stage always stays open. This is not just an ordinary tournament. This is competition renewed every single week. It's not for everyone, only for those who are ready. The best of esports are here. Because this is TETO Games always on. The game never stops.
Evet beyler, yeni skinleri gördünüz mü? Gördüm. Al ve sona yakışmaz mı? Gördüm beyler. Al ve sona yakışmaz mı?
Ya beyler.
Abi ya. Abi şimdi ben sev.
TETO Games.
Aynen.
What's up, guys? Welcome back. A very aggressive statement being made by Amex and Team Germany in the first match of the day. The big question is, can they continue with the rampage that they've been able to establish so far? Amex doubled their points exactly in one game. They started off with 26 points. They gained 26 points in one game. Absolutely phenomenal bit of work that they've been able to do. It shows you, right, that so much can still change with regards to those standings, and nobody is secured in the top 6 whatsoever. But it is going to be a big chase, as of course we are going to be heading over on towards Erangel to see what the teams can do in a back-to-back dose of some bread and butter, right? The PUBG version of that. So, Nep, I'm quite excited to see who's going to be our next rising star. Who's going to step up and blow us away with their performance here?
Honestly, I'm looking at 721. I think they did a really good job in that last game. Yeah, the zone and all the angles, it's very open in that area. It didn't allow them to get as maybe much of the placement points as they wanted to, but they had a really good strategy, a really good position, and they had, you know, quite a few eliminations to back that up. So for me, we're looking at the same 721 that we saw yesterday, and that's really, really important. Remember, in that game as well, they did just sneak ahead of One For All there, so they are now in first place position coming into the second game. I think now we're looking at a very serious team, a very serious contender for that #1 spot.
Yeah, it could be. But of course, remember yesterday, game number 2, that was exactly where One For All got their hands on that juicy winner chicken. They did so with 13 eliminations. So they blessed us with a glorious 23-point bomb. I love that, but can they do that here coming into day number 2? As we've already seen, the pressure has definitely increased considerably, right? These teams are not the same docile squads that we saw yesterday, right? They were like, haha, that was just a rouse. Today we're gonna come in and surprise you, right? We're gonna play some crazy PUBG. You're gonna go absolutely ham. And of course, that could have just been what we saw on Rondo, right? I'm curious to see if all of that kind of aggression is going to increase and translate over on towards Erangel. As we know, this is the map the teams know back to back, right? They can almost play this game in their sleep, especially Erangel. So I'm curious to see just exactly what the tactic will be. And of course, are they going to be blessed or cursed by what that flight path is going to be giving to them?
That is the question. We had that happen a lot of times yesterday. It could entirely happen again today. I am going to be looking at those hot drops, though. We saw an enormous amount of hot drops on all of the maps. So coming into this one, Rondo, you expect it. That's what you do. That's what's done. For me, though, Erangel, Miramar, that's where I'm going to be looking. We saw a lot of teams choose to have those early fights right on Erangel and Miramar. So with this Erangel coming up, I'm really looking like, okay, all right, let's see what we got going on. Let's see how quick this game can finish, because these games have been really quick by PUBG Mobile standards, right?
Yeah. No, it definitely has. So, you know, maybe they will continue to surprise us with how quickly and efficiently they can push through that. I mean, you say that, and we've gone to phase 9 multiple times, actually, yesterday. And even today, first match, we went all the way to phase 9. So I think the kind of pacing of just how active the teams are, yes, it makes it feel like it's a lot more fast-paced. And I appreciate that, right? Where the teams don't sit around and, you know, come through with the strategic delayed rotations, fancy way of saying camping, right? They don't camp, they go out there, they get the job done, and I like that. I want to see that continue to be a trend as we move across the way. But, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see just exactly what they will have to work with, as we are going to be hopping onto that plane very soon to see, of course, where our first initial phase is going to be taking us as well. So I want to see a little bit of pressure coming through. But speaking of pressure, let's hop into the match and see exactly what that flight path is going to bring on in. Is it going to be kind, or is it going to be brutal? I don't know which one I want, but hey, I'll take this one, as it is going to be a little bit more towards the south, right? Really applying quite a bit of focus on that Sosnovka military island and the surrounding area.
That is going to be an interesting turn of events. Yeah, we were talking about that plane path putting a lot of pressure on teams, making them have to fold, you know, be pushed together a little bit more here. And if any flight path is going to do that, it's definitely going to be this one. My goodness me, I think we might see those fights break out over those garages. We saw that definitely happen south of Pachinki last time yesterday, coming into those games, into the first Erangel specifically, I feel like. So we're going to be seeing definitely some of those hot drops coming through. Primorsk already looking a little bit hot and sweaty, and a lot of teams jumping over to the way of Pachinki here. Let's see where they all settle down, because I think it's going to be pretty hectic right about now.
Yeah, well, I'm on board for a little bit of hectic, right? It's going to be Big Baby and Star, aka Kill for Win, that are going to be pushing up into that Primorsk position. We do see the players there from the Caliphate also going for a nice spread close to Fisherman, of course, heading up on towards that Ferry Pier position as well. So an interesting angle that they're looking to adopt here. But the military island itself is going to be completely at the hands here of Amix, as there's nobody there to contest them. But of course, we did see that zone shifting up on towards the more northwestern positioning, right, centering up beautifully towards Georgia Paul Hospital, ruins, and everything over on that side. So let's see who's going to be the team to try and get themselves over there really quickly. Or are they going to focus on looting up where they are right now?
Ew. Car, ew. It's a thing that Max started, but we have to say ew every time that car comes on, because that is the creepiest car skin that PUBG Mobile have ever put out. It's horrifically good, and we just have to say ew every time it comes on. Kill for Win, and ooh, actually Big Baby coming in here, getting this hot drop started. That's going to be really interesting. Also, RSC actually moving into Team Germany. They saw them come in really early on. They looted up so quickly, and then went, you have to go. We're not going to let you encroach. And so far, it's going in their favor. RSC, oh, maybe not. Zero goes on down as well. Savage and Zeem, the last two players standing as Team Germany, looking to defend their position. They haven't gone unscathed, though. They've also got one knock so far. Maybe even two if they're not too careful. This is a really interesting early fight, though. I see what they were trying to do, RSC were trying to do, but unfortunately it seems to have backfired pretty heavily.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate the aggression, but I think they underestimated the amount of players held up in this compound, right? Because it was a whole bucket load of them coming through, and of course a similar thing happening over in Primorsk with Kill for Win. And the players there from Big Baby also in a very contentious showdown. Now, RSC looking to keep it all together. You got Zim just on the edge. You can hear all the footsteps up above. Team Germany now coming through with the reinforcements. The cavalry there as Gashi looks to roll on up. Oh, here we go. It is going to be showtime now. Let's see if RSC can live up to the hype. Oh, so far Savage is down. Now it's up to them. Can they pick it up? So much pressure riding on their shoulders. This is going to be the angle now for Zeptorix. Hold it nice and steady. Cheeky nade coming in on the top. You can hear that nade being pulled. Oh, beautiful attempt. But unfortunately, Team Germany just shutting that whole engagement down. Of course, it was a little bit costly. They did lose one player, but they walk away with 4 points.
Don't they just, my goodness me, a really early, easy start to their day. Very nicely done indeed. Again, I see what EA7 were trying to do, right? They saw them come into their territory. They didn't want to have that fight break out later. They thought if they could just very, very quickly loot something and just go and take them out, that would be a really easy way to start off the Miramar with good momentum. Fortunately, it backfired. It didn't work, and down they will go. ITZ as well in the zone. Not in the zone, not in the game. They are only in the lobby as well. 721 took them out. So that's going to be another full squad wipe for another team. And if there's any team you don't want to be, it is 721. So they are continuing to close or to widen that gap.
Yeah, of course, that is exactly what they need to do. Seeing that they don't have crowbars to utilize here in the game. And now Cam Army also going to be looking to do a little bit of something here, as they need a few additional points. Of course, now they've been able to catch up to where Team Magma is. Both teams sitting on 39 points apiece, but only one more point to go, and that will put them right there alongside the players going through from the Caliphate. Let's see if Caliphate can hold on to their own position, as Cam Army looking to ramp it all up. RS also on that edge here. As you can see, 3 players remaining on their side, but this could be that Cam Army full send as they are getting ready to rumble. Speaking about rumble, though, Ozorox, right there, chilling up in center zone. You can see them here on Everest. There's nobody in the vicinity. There's nobody around them for quite some distance. And they can just sit back, relax, take in the view, and plan, right? Figure out how they're going to look to defend this very centralized positioning, because the rest of the lobby all just over on towards that eastern side.
You know, it's pretty crazy that actually they're pretty much the only team left in this new zone. Yeah, you do have 2 other teams, but they're so far away that the majority of these teams are not in circle. That is a wild thing to have happen. I mean, that will change very shortly. The zone is going to be pushing all of them in, and we will start to see, particularly on that southeastern side, I think, and the southern side in general, I think we're going to start seeing a lot of activity coming in there. Big Baby have to move up, Amix have to move up, 721 as well. So a lot of those teams probably going to be looking to that south side. I think the north side and the west, or the eastern side rather, is going to be pretty chill though. We've only got a couple of teams up there. These teams down to the south, they're going to have to choose their path very carefully here, as we will be seeing not only the squad wipes coming on through though, DK, we also have a few individual players gone as well, right? We saw Team Germany lose 1, but BRBA lost 1, and so did Cam RS as well. So there are, you know, only 44 players in the first 7.5 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, that is not going to have too much of an impact on the overall outcome of this game, but it is going to potentially maybe make things just that little bit more challenging for the squads, as we do say goodbye to Dennis. Magma now starting to roll up as well. I like the kind of hot pursuit approach that they were looking to take coming into the zone. they did find that engagement with Dennis, and now just venturing a little bit further through as they might look to get themselves situated over on towards the northern portion of that river. But it's only cutting off like a third of the map, right? So a third of the current zone is going to be just over the pond. So let's see how this is going to pan out as One For All also now start their advances, coming in hard right behind the side of Magma, but it doesn't seem like they are necessarily going to pursue them, right? As we then have BRBA rotating all the way up onto Saverni, a very wide rotation. They can afford to take a little bit of damage out on the edge of blue, but center zone is going to stay over towards where Ozrox are currently situated. I like that position that the Caliphate have also now started to move into, right? They've just kind of crept up in towards Gatka. They're now heading into up and down, and yeah, there could be quite a few exciting plays coming through on that.
One For All going to be going over to the north side of Roshawk. That's actually a really good spot, but Magma is right ahead of them. It would have been nice to see them maybe go in a little bit early, and then they could grab that compound on the bridge, for instance, or some similar really controlling position early on. But that might just not be their style as we look over to Ozorox, who saw where this was going a very long time ago, very early on in the game, and they went, no, we gotta take this, we got to make sure that we have this spot. But 721, they're like, hey, you guys had a great idea, actually we might take it for ourselves. But this is going to be a big fight coming through here. Ozorox need points. They're in 10th place right now. Oh, at 721. Don't want anything to do with them. Leon bites the dust immediately, not letting any time go between the knock and the flush there. And now Ozorox down to 3. That really just puts a spanner in the works. And think about their confidence, right? Their momentum. They're like, oh, we're a full squad, this, that, and the other. For Leon to get shut down so quickly, so instantly, I think Ozorox now looking a little bit more nervous.
Yeah, I think they forgot to fold those launchers up, right? Because not only do they have the pressure coming through here from 721, there's also another squad creeping up over on their edge, as well as we can see Shadow just about to come onto that mini-map. So, yeah, I believe that is Team Magma. No, that is the Caliphate. Also looking to contest a little bit more here as the push comes through. And Ozrox, they need to keep their heads on a swivel here, right? Yes, predominantly focus over on towards 721 that is going to be looking to push in their direction. But at the same time, we need to see Melas or at least PC keep a watchful eye behind them, right? You always got to watch your back, especially when you're situated up on Everest.
Everest gonna be one of those. I mean, I can see. I think we all know why this is so heavily contested, right? It's gonna be a big point of interest in this game as the zone continues to go in that direction. But this is where getting there early is not always the best thing, because now Ozorox have to fend off 2 different teams if the Caliphate decide to move through and move forward. They're going to have to fend off a lot of teams from all different sides. You got to really make sure that you're quick to get rid of teams one or the other side, because you will get third-partied pretty early on, pretty quickly indeed. So for Ozorox, this is a difficult position to be in, but actually 721 are moving away. That's going to be a huge weight off their shoulders. 721 deciding it's not worth the fight. There's other places to go. So that's going to be Ozorox left alone with potentially the Caliphate as well. As now it looks like Everest has been made in an edge position now rather than a center with that new zone moving in.
I mean, that's still good news for Ozorox, but 721, of course, they went over to the loot. They saw the drop coming in, and they're like, well, you know what? We're not gonna let that loot go away. We'll just step it up and upgrade our gear as we go. But yeah, one also down over in the container yard, receiving a little bit of pressure here as Ozorox trying to kind of just fend off any potential advances. But especially with Everest now being on the edge, there's no apparent need for any team to really rotate in that direction. Big Baby, though, full setting it up in the container yard as well. King flying through. 20. Trying to pick him up. Unfortunately, not being able to cause too much of an upset. They got a fate now. They've squeezed in right alongside container yard here, moving up into Smiley. But now, Magma team looking to keep the pressure up, not letting anybody have an opportunity to breathe. But this is where Puma needs to be cautious, right? Still very exposed alongside that wall.
I'm surprised how many teams have actually gone for the crater, or the crates area, right? I mean, yes, it is in the center zone, but I think we tend to see teams try to avoid this area a little bit more than they have in this game. Not sure entirely why. This has always been a favorite of mine. Coming in onto Erangel has been for years and years. Used to be a favorite drop location back when, you know, it was a really good loot drop area. But a lot of teams don't like this spot. But here, looks like we have 3-4 teams all centered up around this spot, around this location. I am trying to see where One for All are, actually. I don't see them right now. I don't see them at all, actually. They've lost one, it looks like. Down to third. They've dropped down to third, DK. 1 point behind Germany because Germany have 5 eliminations in this game already, thanks to that squad wipe early on. But that is going to be a problem for One for All. That's really going to be a problem. They need to step up quickly because if they don't, they're just going to keep on falling down. And I do see them now. They're on that edge. They're on the south side in some buildings just outside of, yeah, just outside of crates here. They worry me. They really worry me, DK. We're looking at a team that was doing so well in day number 1, struggle to find that momentum in day 2.
Yeah, they're going on a bit of a slippery slope, right? All they need is some really good hiking boots and they'll be sorted, right? They can start climbing their way back up. Go get some of those picks that we saw over on Rondo, right? Just use them and get your way back into contention. But now, Big Baby trying to lock down at least the western side of the container yard. Not too much of contentious play there for them as the zone, of course, now centered up beautifully on this exact position. We still have a squad situated up towards the north. So curious to see if they are going to look to strike at any point or just keep themselves a little bit more removed from the altercations. Quick is going to be feeling a little bit of that tickle, a little bit of that sting, but Hamblake, though, quickly following through, trying to bounce back. Gravity, alright, Gravity, Germany, not even related, but hey, you know what? I guess it works. It's Team Germany are going to be looking quite excited there. You can see them just absolutely beaming with excitement, trying to find an angle, trying to find that approach. But the container yard, I think there's a reason as to why teams don't like coming here, right? This is very much like quicksand. Easy to get into, a pain in the butt to get out of. So, yeah, makes a whole lot of sense if you look at it like that. Now it's going to be Cam Army feeling the pressure. Ozrock still up on Everest as they spot out the advances coming through here from Amex. Amex have no interest in Everest. They just want to get into the dang zone. But Default, unfortunately, getting stopped in his tracks. No more pushing forward for him.
That is unfortunate. They are going to lose that one. Ooh, Cam Rangers, a team that we've seen do things time and time again, but haven't seen too much of them today, except for just now. There they go, just trying to full send it with that hovercraft, and other teams are just like, this is taken, dudes. What are you doing? Down to 2 they will go, and they're going to just try and hold on for as much as possible, but no, Magma on top of things there, going to just take him out once more, so looks like Cam might just have to suffer on as a solo here. And Magma actually have a great position. You have to be very careful. It's very, very open if you overextend even just a little bit, right? But if you look at the positioning zone, yes, it is edge, but you have an escape route if you need to with the water. You have a really good vantage point onto a lot of other teams there, and you can just really just pick apart teams, third party them a little bit. So this is a very good entry point for Magma here.
Yeah, it definitely could be quite a good angle for them to come through, as see so many teams just ahead of them. Cam Army also just going to be chilling on the edges here, trying to get a good assessment of where they could look to push through. But this might be a very difficult little shack to get out of, right? Because the moment they kind of peel out of that, it does open them up to the Caliphate as well as Team Germany right there alongside them. So going to have to try and time that to perfection. In the meantime, One for All now moving up into the warehouse. Going to play a little bit of a contentious position here. This is a nice setup, especially with regards to where Magma and the Caliphate are situated. Bera getting spotted up on the hill. Queen not fast enough with those shots. Not able to convert that into anything at this point. But it does just kind of help keep Magma at bay, right? So it does buy a bit of time here for the side of One for All. But they are yet to find any eliminations. So, yeah, if they want to try and contest the slippery slope they find themselves on, they will have to work a little bit harder here to secure that momentum. But now, we wait to see what the teams are going to be doing, right? Things quieting down a little bit as we are now waiting for the zone to pop. In the meantime, Ozorox continuing with a barrage over on the edge of zone as they now have to start to move on forward. Pressure is going to be hard on their heels. Can we see those plays? Of course, a replay coming in there as well. But Team Germany, they're also just super patient, right? They are just waiting for One for All to drop the ball.
I mean, this is a team that has been patient in the past. We've seen a lot of it from them. So, makes sense to me why they're just going to be waiting for that opportunity. One for All are in a really horrendous spot, actually. The zone has not been kind to them at all. It's a good position in those warehouses, but it's just way too edge now. It's way too much. There's not much they can do about it as well because the gap between the warehouses and the crates is just really far when you're on foot and when you are in a competitive setting like this. So, I hope, but I don't have hope, if that makes sense, right? I think this game is going to be a little bit of a wash for them, unfortunately. Meanwhile, Amix and Ozorox actually going head-to-head. They've moved off of Everest. They're going to be trying to get this compound. It is a good compound, but again, it's similar to One for All's position, right? It's easy to get into, hard to get out of, and on that edge position, is this necessary? Yes, a very nice off angle coming in from Spike. This fight is... How did he not get taken out by that nade? I will never know. It's a necessary fight, but is it going to really help? Magma are nading themselves in the Elam feed, just letting you guys know that as well. As Ozorox now, this fight is getting third-partied. And in a big way as well. I mean, why not? When the teams are as close together as all this, you gotta do what you gotta do. And Blue, able to take out Havlik now with that P90. Not the P90, with the JS9. Ozorox now the last player standing for his team, and Amix looking to move in. Not the game that Ozorox wanted at all. It was looking so good, but the zone has forced them away. And Blue, just 2 eliminations for his team, and it looks like they're just gonna have to be satisfied with that.
Yeah, not the most comfortable pull to swallow here, but sometimes that is just what you gotta do. Blue now trying to push, as you can see. Aggressor just popping in the shots, finding a little bit of damage, but that elimination might get stolen from them. Cam Army making quite a bit of noise here from what we've seen so far. Fortunately for them, they were allowed to kind of just get on behind the building as opposed to still being stuck within it. I mean, at least that goes for go away, right? It doesn't really matter for the rest of the team there. They are also still pretty much pinned down. So this is going to be a very difficult fight, whichever way you look at it. But look at the defenses there from Blue. He has found himself quick. But can he survive the onslaught? Amix also coming in with their second breath, looking to bounce back, looking to contest. BRBA, though, in the meantime, they just big bull and big chilling up towards the north, right? They don't have a care in the world. The zone has pushed them a little bit further forward. They'll just slowly continue to advance. Now, of course, that position has been revealed just as we say that, as Magma is all up on those container movers. So let's see how this one pans out, as we still have quite a few squads situated outside of the zone. Big Baby, this is a really good setup for them.
This is fantastic. They're looking very comfortable in this position in particular, right? Magma sneaking their way up onto these massive overlook crane positions as Blue does finally go out. Spike will take him down, but he is a solo, so Ozorox able to just take out at least one more player there for themselves. But yeah, this is going to be a very interesting end zone. We had a really intense game last game on Rondo, but I think we're going to have a little bit of a repeat of that. If you look at the mini-map, look how many teams are here. Look at all the bullets flying. That's going to be close now, down to a solo. Cam unable to do anything, and Koji going on down to Big Baby here. Great nades being flooded through those little warehouse windows. That's going to be an instant flush. Big game coming in from them. Big baby, just able to continue that onslaught. Look at that Elam feed go. And yeah, we're going to be seeing BRBA fall victim to that.
Well, now this is going to be Team Magma's opportunity to rise and shine. You can see just how well this vantage point is going to be looking for them. But now it's all reliant on whether or not Pera can actually connect those shots up. Right, this will definitely help Magma clear a bit of a pathing into this next phase. As the pressure is still pretty high. Big Baby be holding up here right in the center. Team Germany sneaking up behind them. I like where One for All has also been able to go, right? Just kind of getting themselves over towards that very edge. But now they have to maneuver through those containers. They can't stay there for much longer. Big Baby, this is their opportunity. They've got quite a bit of an angle in many directions. But very soon they are going to feel all that pressure kind of just descending upon their shoulders. And I hope they're ready for this because it's going to be absolute mayhem.
6 eliminations for Big Baby. They're really doing a good job of clearing out the space around them. Which isn't easy to do in crates, actually. It's a difficult feat because there's a lot of crevices that teams could be hiding, that players, solos, could backstab you from. So it's very important to keep that way clear as much as possible. But what's crazy is that Magma is the only team with a full squad here. That's how crazy it's gotten in this mid-game, right? We haven't seen, you know, the chaos. You know, it's not been as intense as it might have been in other games, but the dwindling number of players, 16 players in Stage 6, I think tells you all you need to know here. As Magma continue to have control of the western side. Now just looking for those solos, looking for those backstab players, making sure there's nobody that can do anything before they take over the northern side. They do know somebody is here, though. Oh, loses the car, though. Gotta be careful, but BRB8, super easy. But he does lose the car. That's going to be a hefty price to pay, I would have thought here, as Puma's just going to heal on up, and that's going to be BRBA out, down, and out, done, dusted. Top 6 teams. Here we go. DK is looking like Magma could be in for a win here. I mean, look at the control they're now able to have.
Yep, they're definitely asserting quite a bit of control across this map. A decent amount of eliminations going their way as well, but a lot of the pressure is now going to start to build here over on towards the southern side with One for All and 721. All trying to clear it up. They know they have to advance, they have to push forward. So McQueen and the rest of the crew now looking for exactly that opportunity. Magma's still going to be an absolute menace on their approach. 20 right there on the front line, but fortunately here, the 721 aggressors can't necessarily see One for All advancing. This could also lead them right into the clutches of Team Germany, patiently waiting. Push right there on the side of zone. Oh, McQueen getting spotted. Quick reactions coming through as aggressors trying to kind of just lock it in. 721 down to just the 2-piece here. Does make things quite hard, quite difficult. But can they kind of pick up the pacing once more? As they will have to push through the smoke, get back into the next bit of cover, and King is going to be picking them up as they push out. 721 down to a solo here. This is exactly what One for All has been waiting for, the opportunity to get themselves back in a much stronger position. We do say goodbye to 721 as McQueen closes the door for them. Now, what is Big Baby going to do? Are they going to strike at a very weakened Team Magma? And of course, the players coming through there from one, or are they just going to sit back, relax, and wait for the carnage to find its way to their doorstep?
Either way, it's looking very strong. Somebody has a P90 on Team Germany. Hang on a second. That could change a few things. Very strong weapon coming on through here. Very nice on that close range, which is going to be super imperative here in this crate area. But the zone, ooh, takes a nasty shift. Over to the north side, we are looking at a canal finish here. Very open, and look who it is. Oh, it's Spike on top, taking out Para there. Another weak... just another team, or Magma getting weakened again is what I'm trying to say here. Just not even spreading out too far, they're just getting backstabbed by all of these solos coming through here, so Magma have to limp home to a warehouse. Their control is over, done, dusted, unfortunately. Puma is next going to go on down. Spike, though, has 6 eliminations out of his team's 8. MG3 now for Big Baby coming through here. It is the battle of the big guns. These are the big boys coming out to play now.
Yeah, the big guns and Spike. Right, that is what we're looking at right here. It is going to be Magma down to 20 as 20 is going to try and still just push through the warehouse. We've already seen what Struth has in hand, so you've got to be very, very cautious, very careful. But Babana right there as well on the defense line. I'm not quite sure how 20 is going to be able to wrangle his way through this. Still got to keep a very close eye on Gentleman right there on the side. The blue now just forcing the play. Team Germany looks to advance 8 eliminations up. This is exactly the kind of pacing they need to succeed here, but the nades are going to look to stop the advances. Struss and the rest of Big Baby, they want to try and get this one in the back. They've got the numbers, they've got the angles, and they, of course, get that elimination as well now. Germany, the point not counting for the side of Big Baby. It definitely helps in making things a lot more manageable as 20 now gets pressured. The Molish just nipping at his heels, trying to dance through the flames. You can only do so much. Fortunately there, for the side of Team Magma, right, they are somewhat fire resilient. But let's see, are they blue zone resilient? That is going to be the big test. Oh, 20 dropping the ball, cancelling that heal. Oh, down he goes. The big bad blue zone kicking his butt across this map. Now, it is going to be Spike versus Big Baby. A 2v1 showdown. To see if Team Amex mean business. 8 eliminations under their belt. So far, they are going to be walking away with a minimum of 14 points for this game. And that is going to do phenomenal things for them. Already a little bit ahead of Big Baby coming into this game. But can they continue? Can they apply what they need to apply here to get it in the bag? The shots come in and down they go. Absolutely amazing stuff for Big Baby. And this could be exactly that turnaround point for the Big Baby squad.
It is indeed. Goodness me, a really good show from them. Really good control, really good control. Did I say control twice? I think I did. I said control twice, didn't I? Well, okay, so I meant control of other teams and control of themselves as well. That's 4 times now. But yeah, it's really, really good stuff from them. I really liked them seeing them keep their wits about them. And before before that last play of Amix Spike did that last play, I was like, wait a second, he could actually win this because he was the only one in control of the North after taking out that player from Magma. So that would have been crazy, but it didn't turn out that way, and Big Baby will take the second game of the day. I want to know where that's going to put them on these leaderboards coming up here, though, DK, because that, I think, is a pretty big game from them.
Yeah, let's take a look and see exactly what the leaderboard situation is now. Where do the teams find themselves? As, well, Big Baby, Amex really pushing it all the way to that very end. Of course, a quick swap around there between Big Baby and Amex. Both teams now tied on exactly the same amount of points. But other than that, Team Germany just advancing ahead of 1-for-all. I mean, 1-for-all, they tried a little bit, but we were talking about a few slopes coming through here, a few slippery positions coming through for the teams. And, yeah, that is exactly where 1-for-all find themselves now, trailing by 2 points. So there is going to be a lot of work that needs to be done in the remaining games if they want to try and bounce back, right? But, yeah, it's working out for Team Magma. 51 points on the board, 36 eliminations. I like where those where the bits of aggression is going. Caliphate also, I'd say, doing a really good job here. I mean, yes, they've been slowly kind of moved down the rankings, right? They were in 6th place coming into the match. Now they find themselves all the way down in that 8th position. But there is still some hope, right? The disparity between 8th place and 6th position is only 10 points, right? Those 10 points could be worth €100 for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely could be. I am looking very much forward to the next Erangel coming in. We saw a lot of hot drops coming through there. We saw a lot of early fights coming through and, you know, just some really good aggression. That's what I love seeing in this lobby is the aggression coming through and making that consistent throughout the entire game here, DK.
Yeah, well, speaking about consistent, we're going to keep things consistent and keep it flowing. We are going to be heading into a break, so we'll see you back on the other side for our second and last Erangel of the day.
Yok şimdi vardıysa başka geçirmeyeceğim.
Biliyorum.
Sen de ay deseniz sonra.
TETO Games aynı.
Ahmet'i de aldım dur. Abi çekiyorum ben de bir şanssız ya.
Every game has a beginning, but some never truly end. Time never stops here. Opponents change, but the stage always stays open. This is not just an ordinary tournament. This is competition renewed every single week. It's not for everyone, only for those who are ready. The best of esports are here. Because this is TETO Games always on. The game never stops.
Evet beyler, yeni skinleri gördünüz mü? Gördüm. Al ve sona yakışmaz mı? Gördüm beyler. Al ve sona yakışmaz mı?
Ya beyler.
Abi ya. Abi şimdi oldu.
Ben sev...
TETO Games.
Aynen. Ya şimdi vardı senin başına geçirmeyeceğim.
Tamam. Biliyorum.
Sen de ay deseniz hala.
TETO Games aynı. Ahmet'i de aldım dur.
Abi ben çekemem ben de bir şanssız ya.
Every game has a beginning, but some never truly end. Time never stops here. Opponents change, but the stage always stays open. This is not just an ordinary tournament. This is competition renewed every single week. It's not for everyone, only for those who are ready. The best of esports are here. Because this is TETO Games always on. The game never stops.
Evet beyler, yeni skinleri gördünüz mü? Gördüm. Al ve sona yakışmaz mı? Gördüm beyler. Al ve sona yakışmaz mı?
Ya beyler.
Abi ya. Abi şimdi oldu.
Ben sev...
TETO Games.
Aynen. Ya şimdi vardı senin başına geçirmeyeceğim.
Tamam. Biliyorum.
Sen de ay deseniz hala.
TETO Games aynı. Ahmet'i de aldım dur.
Abi ben çekemem ben de bir şanssız ya.
Every game has a beginning, but some never truly end. Time never stops here. Opponents change, but the stage always stays open. This is not just an ordinary tournament. This is competition renewed every single week. It's not for everyone, only for those who are ready. The best of esports are here. Because this is TETO Games always on. The game never stops.
Evet beyler, yeni skinleri gördünüz mü? Gördüm. Al ve sona yakışmaz mı? Gördüm beyler. Al ve sona yakışmaz mı?
Ya beyler.
Abi ya. Abi şimdi oldu.
Ben sev...
TETO Games.
Aynen. Ya şimdi vardı senin başına geçirmeyeceğim.
Tamam. Biliyorum.
Sen de ay deseniz hala.
TETO Games aynı. Ahmet'i de aldım dur.
Abi ben çekemem ben de bir şanssız ya.
Every game has a beginning, but some never truly end. Time never stops here. Opponents change, but the stage always stays open. This is not just an ordinary tournament. This is competition renewed every single week. It's not for everyone, only for those who are ready. The best of esports are here. Because this is TETO Games always on. The game never stops.
Evet beyler, yeni skinleri gördünüz mü? Gördüm. Al ve son yakış var mı? Gördüm beyler. Al ve son yakış var mı?
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the always on excitement, right? It's always on, right? It just keeps on going. It just keeps on rolling through as we are here in the monthly final for season 2. And of course, we are getting ready to head into our very last Erangel right in the Poland section. So excited to see what the teams are going to be bringing in. It was quite sweaty over in the container yard in the game we had just now. Let's see, maybe the zone will go somewhere else, make things even more challenging than it already is. But, of course, we did see quite a bit of response coming in on that final push, right? Teams just keeping the pressure up, trying to claim as much as they can. And it was very exciting / super sweaty altercation.
It sure was, and I'm looking for that sweatiness to come in again in this next game. I kind of feel like, okay, am I crazy for thinking this, right? I want all the action on the Erangel because after that, we're starting to get into the next 2 games, those Miramars, right? And I think that's where all those points are going to be coming down to a point. Like, you really want to make sure you're playing a good game on the Miramar. Is the Erangel, if you want to be aggressive, the last game you can really do that?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
No,
Cool.
it has
Cool,
to be, right? I mean, because when else are you going to look to get aggressive? If you don't get aggressive now, I think it's a missed opportunity, right? Because if Erangel is a map that you prefer over the side of Miramar, this is your final opportunity to try and make a bit of a statement, to try and close that gap as best you can so that when you get over onto Miramar, you don't have to stress too much, right? Might you still stress a little bit? Yes, but you know, you want to try and diminish the amount of stress that you are going to be experiencing once you step over onto the final 2 maps of the day. So, yeah, curious to see what the teams are going to be bringing in and whether or not they're going to go full out to close it up on our final Erangel right here. Speaking of which, here we go as we are on the plane, strapped in and ready to roll, and we are starting in the south and heading to the north. But a nice little bit of a push across the map here as well.
Yes, indeed. A much more favorable flight path for these teams going into the last Erangel of the tournament, really, right? The last game of Poland, the last opportunity that they have to do what they need to do. And, yeah, we will see where these teams are going to be going. Are there going to be any hot drops on the aggressive side? Is the plane path really going to be their excuse for these hot drops, or is it just that they want to do it? You know, that's the thing. So far, kind of looks like they just want to do it. We're seeing a lot of teams grouped up together. The hot drop in Primorsk not happening this time around, but we will see where that's going to be going. I doubt RSC are really going to be doing what they did last game again, i.e. Just full sending 10 seconds into the game. Not going to be happening this time around, I bet. That didn't work in their favor this time. I think they might have learned their lesson.
I mean, I can respect what they were attempting to do there, right? Looking to play the upset, looking to sweep a contender out of the way. They just chose the wrong contender to try and sweep out of the way, right? But hey, looking at that, the zone is going to be cinching up quite comfortably right there alongside Rozok. So Garden could be a very contested position, as the teams now have very good reason to try and get themselves crammed up into there. Speaking about crammed, that is exactly what we are seeing on the screen right now. It is going to be Cam and, of course, 721, both getting ready for a bit of a showdown. The shots are flying all over the place, and this is hot and heated pressure. 721 say goodbye to their first player. Rorino had a big oh no as the shots came through. But let's see, can Aggressor look to lock it in? Cam Army, though, getting really close. Dizzy getting traded off. Only just temporarily. New player, Go Away, could also look to clutch it up. That's exactly what Go Away does. The shots are in. And this is now, quite a bit of a bounce back coming through from the side of Cam Army.
It is indeed. We saw them a little bit in the last game, right? But not too much, really. And now they're stepping the heck on up, and it's 7:21 as well. That's giving Team Germany, it's giving One for All as well an opportunity to catch up here, going down to 2 as they are. Spidey and Koji trying to make the best things, doing the best they can, rather. Cam Army do lose 1, but that is not going to be an issue. Still, that player advantage coming through here. The DB28, oh, I love this weapon. I need to play it a lot more. Very precise once you get used to it. And that's exactly why Spidey is just really just stuck behind the tree. He's not going to move at all. This is where the standoff actually comes in, TK, right? Because you're going to have those two teams. They're not looted up sufficiently. They don't have vehicles. One of them is just going to have to disengage or just go back to the lobby. There's no real other way to do it.
Yeah, it does seem to be the case. And it seems like the Caliphate also getting a little bit restless as they've now wandered over into Primorsk, trying to get a read on the position here for Big Baby. Meanwhile, 7:21, looking to see if they can get close enough. The Spidey senses not working well enough as Dizzy got traded up and down he goes. Koji now the last one, looking to defend, but this is the opportunity for Cam Army to come in with full force. You can see Go Away getting ready to do exactly that, prepping for a charge. Are they going to send it over here? Oh, yes, they are. Up they come. The cooker, the timer is running down. Spidey could get traded, but this is not going to be that opportunity for Cam Army to close it up. They are frantically searching for Koji. Can they find him though? Yep, the one confirmation is in. 1 down, 1 more to go. 3 eliminations already secured here. But now, Koji could still make quite a bit of noise, as he is going to be coming through with an Uzi and AUG. Very interesting loadout. Very limited options, and also quite low on that on the ammo, so he's gonna have to be very selective with how he goes through this altercation, but can't be too picky, right? He needs to defend as a Go Away has been found, but now it's gonna be a full send coming through here as Goji's going all out. He doesn't want to hold anything back. Close getting traded off as well, and what a comeback. Now it is up to Dizzy to see if he can keep his team in this fight, right? Things looked like it was going their way, but the 7:21 aggressors just turning this whole push on its head.
I don't even know how Go Away got knocked there. I did not see that at all, but down he will go indeed. Caliphate as well, going head-to-head with who? Big Baby. Oh, okay, so this is a big fight for both of these teams, technically. Although the Caliphate are in 8th place right now, so they're not too much part of the conversation as much as Big Baby are. Right now, full squad for Big Baby. They were able to res that teammate up. And so this is going to be the big send. Look at them just descend off that hill, and King knows he is toast if he doesn't play this very, very carefully. Does get 1. Can he get the second? Yes, he can. But the third one, the off angle, he cannot switch around quickly enough. And that is going to be Big Baby able to take out a full squad there. Caliphate have no place in this game.
Yeah, that was an unfortunate position for Caliphate to be in. Very exposed, essentially just shouting at Big Baby. He's like, I'm over here, I'm over here. I dare you.
Yeah.
Push me. Try. And they were like, yeah, fair. Here we go. And they just cleaned it up. So, yep, good efforts being put forward here. But now we are going to be looking all the way down to that far southern side with Amex trying to now also rotate into a little bit more of a safe position, right? Getting off of that military island, focusing on the main island. And they're, of course, leaving the Rangers behind, right? The Rangers a little bit more over towards that western positioning. So let's take a look back at how it all unraveled here for Cam Army. Oh, good push there. That was a beautiful play over on towards Aggressor. I mean, things just looked so hopeful for the side of the Cam Army. But then Koji came in with the Kobe and just closed it up slowly but steadily. And, I mean, Dizzy is still alive. Koji also is alive and is actually rotated past Dizzy. But we do see Amex now making it up onto the mainland. Where are they going to choose to rotate towards? I mean, there are so many options available for them to move into. Let's see, are they going to go for the tactical play, or is it still a little bit of a nutritional position here for them, right? Do they need the loot? I don't think they do, right? Coming from Millie, there's quite a bit of loot.
I mean, it really is loot central over there, so it's not going to be a difficult position to really be coming out of. You're going to be ready to go for sure. Skill for win coming on through here up against One for All. Now this again, a big fight that might just go down here. They're intermingling with those vehicles. No real shots except for now being fired. But One for All cannot lose out here. Big Baby with that squad wipe have moved ahead of them on that leaderboard. Only by a little bit, but they cannot afford to do anything here. They have to win this fight or they are in real danger. And down to 2 they go. Down to 3! DK. It's not working. It's not working at all. They've got 1 player left. It's done. The solo is done. We're halfway through the last day at this point. I think we have to get used to the fact that One for All is not going to win this tournament.
I mean, it's gonna require a lot of refocusing from their end, right? I think it is safe to say that so far coming into the lovely map of Erangel, they've dropped the ball, right? They're gonna have to go dig it out, have to go find it, bump it back up again, make sure it's got a good bounce to it, because they can't lose it again, right? If they want to get that lion's share of the prize pool, they know what they got to do. They're gonna have to bounce back a lot more aggressively. So yeah, hopefully they'll be able to do exactly that. In the meantime, it is gonna be the players there from RS also now pushing forward. And in case you missed the engagement at the side there of One for All, here's just a quick look back at how it all unraveled. Very unfortunate play, but hey, it's looking really good for the players from Star, right? Good for win, 4 eliminations in the bag, up to 34 points. That does make things a little bit easier for them now to try and play a game of catch-up here. They are still trailing by at least 25 points, so... is that 15 points? Yes, that's 15... I don't know. Whatever. Math. It is what it is. 34 minus 51. Whatever the number you get to, they're trailing by so many points. But now we get to see where the teams are going to look to get themselves situated coming into this next zone. Of course, we are moving a little bit more towards that school and apartments area. And this is where focus is going to be the name of the game, right? Especially seeing that it is our last Erangel of the day. Cannot afford to make too many big mistakes here. RSC, though, I like the setup. Looking to get themselves kind of just a little bit more locked in, looking for the angles to try and push through and maybe pick up a few trades along the way.
Yes, indeed. I mean, they're in 15th place right now, 17 points on the board. It's not been the outcome they were hoping for, but this split, I do like it. Like you said, it's got a lot of control in it. It's a good split for the mid-game. Just trying to get on this rooftop. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how many points they can glean from this. It could be start of a comeback. And again, are they going to win? No. Could they make top 6? Potentially, right? It'd be a really long shot, but we have seen the likes of Amix, for instance, you know, just shoot into 5th place, or, you know, Ozorox being able to double points. Things like that can happen, especially seeing as we still have, well, 3 games, including this one, still half the day to go. So we'll see how they can turn that around for themselves. BRBA, another team that I want to see more from. They're just lingering on the cusp of the second page there. 37 to 41, 4-point difference. That's what they need in order to get onto that first half of the leaderboard. So definitely going to be looking for them as well here.
Yeah, you're going to have to try and do as much as you possibly can at this point. Speaking about which, though, I'm curious to see just what is going to happen to that tension currently building over onto the western front of the zone, right? Quite a bit of focus over on the south as well, as you did see that zone shift coming through. But it opens up a big door, I say, for the side of Star, right? They've got quite a bit of peace and tranquility there, right? There's nobody really looking to contest in the surrounding area, of course, over in those Yasnaya fields. So it does allot them quite a bit of an opportunity to get set up and then start applying the pressure moving forward. But in the meantime, we do see Team Germany getting dealt a very tough hand here as they caught out on so many different fronts. And this is quite strange, right? Because Team Germany, they've actually been really good with their rotations, managing to squeeze through a lot of contested positions and actually looking to be the menace. But this time, it seems like the table has been turned on its head. Here we go, though. Volcano is going to be a nice position to kind of hold on to. Let's see whether or not RSC can do anything with this hill. As Vlad just patiently waiting a cheeky spray. Oh, here we go. Finds the angle. As one of the Alamo compounds now gets pressured. Look at Germany out in the field trying to run for survival. That is a little bit too close for comfort.
1 HP, quite literally there. What a just a save that was coming in from him. Gonna be able to move out of there very quickly. Yeah, it's interesting you said, right, that they've normally been so good with their rotations, and I do feel that to be the case. I think either one of two things happened is they just overcommitted to that center position, where if you look, if you notice that the compounds just to the north of that position are completely free, and very controlling that they could have used. So either they just overcommitted, or they were not prepared for the amount of teams that have all just bunched up into the center like that so early. It's only stage 3, and most of the lobby is in circle and in center. So for me, I think it could be either one or the other, or a combination of both those things. They are at least still a solo. We've seen solos do really good things, and so I think he should be able to survive, maybe, hopefully, at least into those placement point territories.
Yeah. I mean, you gotta respect the mindset there. It's like it's a all or nothing approach coming through from the side of Team Germany there. But let's see what is gonna happen here as we have teams now trying to kind of squeeze themselves up into this next phase. Things are still gonna be pretty challenging as we are gonna be pulling beautifully up onto Volcano. This is where things get interesting, right? Because RSC, yes, they have control of the hill, but there's also the compounds that they need to look at. And of course, we got the players there from in the zone, also now situated up in towards Garden. So it's not necessarily the most comfortable position to be, but it would allow them a little bit more of an opportunity, right? As they're not right in the middle of the contested angles here. And also with the partners being in zone, there's so many spots to try and keep your head, to try and keep rather a watchful eye on, right? Because the moment you forget about one spot, you're going to get pressured from there.
That's really the lesson being learned here by a lot of teams, I think, is this lobby in particular. Everybody is watching you at all times. You just break for a moment and things will not go your way. You see Amix just going at it with RG to the north side. I mean, those shots being fired. Crazy sounds that we're hearing coming in from them there. Amix down to just default, but that nade could be huge. And I think it might just be. That's going to be another elimination on the board there, and EA7 trying to now third party that. Great nade, not going to do any damage though. Ooh, is going to try and flick out, do something, but no, can't do anything, and that is going to be Amix out. And they are on par with Team Germany, right? 70 points on the board with those 4 eliminations, but it is not going to be enough here. They're outside of the placement point territory. That's all they could do in this game. They have to wait for those Miramars.
Well, maybe sometimes waiting is the best thing that they can do. Right? But they're going to have to bounce back so aggressively. In the meantime, there's going to be a kill for win here. Trying to contest RSC as they want to get a bit of a better position situated up into Volcano. But again, not the easiest angle to try and push off of, right? I like the spread that RSC has been kind of applying up towards the northern side of the zone. It has allowed them quite a bit of flexibility. But now let's see just how flexible they can be, as Star also now starts to advance. They have been spotted out in the open, and this is going to be that go time now. RSC will have to mount the best offensive they can if they want to stay in this and potentially contest RS on the standings. But here we go, Savage up on the roof, nice bit of elevation, getting that Overwatch angle, and this is exactly the position you need to play down over into the open exposed fields, right? This could be their ticket to a beautiful statement coming into these next few phases.
Definitely could be indeed. We'll just have to wait and see, but there's a lot of teams that are gearing up for a really good control of their position, right? We've got Star, or Kill for Win rather. We've got RSC on that north side continuing to have those big splits coming through here. Magma in the center as well, right? Still a full squad here. Great compound, not necessarily, you know, in a high ground position. However, they're still a full squad, they're still center zone, they still have a very important position in that zone. So definitely another team that we're going to have to look at here. I'm also looking, though, DK, I've just noticed right behind Big Baby here. Who is that in the bottom? It is going to be Ozorox. They continue to be part of the conversation. Full squad here. No eliminations, no fights have been done just yet, but here they are, just wrapping around RS as much as possible. And we'll see where they're actually going to end up going. Oh, they can't stop, though. Can't stop for anything. Malaz is going to go down here. Because, yeah, that's going to be Big Baby now looking at them. It was RS before, rather, and now it's Big Baby. There's also 721 up at the top there. There's Star. There's a lot of teams that could have Overlook here, and they're still not in zone, so gotta be very careful of that. As we move over, Kill for Win. Gotta be moving straight through RSC. They're like, no, we want this position for ourselves. Didn't think that it was gonna be this hard to do anything with, though. Obito did not realize he's gonna just have to be a solo now. They did not realize the hold that they had on that spot, on that position. And that's just gonna have to be lesson learned. Time to move on. Now Ozorox feeling the hurt, feeling the burn there. Have to leave that one player, that knocked player behind. They're trying to find any sort of position. What is happening? Because they're just rolling around in open ground at this point.
Yeah, it's a tough spot, but I like the contention here up in the Alamo as King now needs to hold strong, hold steady. Meanwhile, RSC, they are going to be focusing their efforts forward onto in the zone, but unfortunately those nades are going to prevent that initial push. Big Baby also managing to still hold on. As you can see, they're just trying to bring themselves back up into a full 4-piece. But do they have somebody here alongside them? Is that another player holding it up? Yeah, I think it is. So it's going to be interesting to see whether or not they will get found out. In the meantime, RSC, though, having to face the music as in the zone, are looking to fight back and fight back with a vengeance, as you can see. Added also just sneaking up on the side. RSC really getting tested all the way through. Blood going in the vehicle, looking to move it into a little bit more of a secured position, trying to keep it out of reach of those utilities. But I like what's happening here within the zone. Just trying to be so decisive in their push, right? Trying to come at them from all angles. That is going to be the trade-off there for Vlad. And down he goes, 721. Going to be stealing those points. But now comes the push as Dark is going to look to lighten it all up. Added also just putting down a little bit of utility, trying to make things even more challenging. But Zam over the top of their rock. Oh, gets pushed. The volley is in and down he goes.
My goodness me, but it was just by a thread. My goodness. Coming in clutch there. Almost had it, but not quite enough. But look at the minimap. Look at everybody descending on this position in the same time. There is no way that in the zone are able to survive this. But who will come out on top? Because it's Magma and it's Big Baby at the same time coming into this fight. Coming into this position, trying to make it big. 721, that solo is just going to be looking on. And this fight is going to be for nothing, DK. The zone has shifted down to the south side. They were trying to make something of this position, something of this third party. Magma have already realized the error of their ways, and they're going to be immediately backing off of this. And I think Big Baby now able to also do that, right? They're just going to be chucking those nades forward. Hopefully going to regroup and move away. One of their teammates has already tried to secure a position in zone for them. Let's see, can they? Yeah, that's surely gotta be, no. Those vehicles, man. There's some great cover being used there because he should have been out a long time ago, but he will continue to survive here. And don't waste your nades. Don't waste too much of your util here. And I think they understand that, but they're gonna be Koji is going to be actually backstabbing them a little bit here. And for Big Baby, they've just stayed here way too long.
Yeah, they definitely have. So let's see, can they maybe recover a little bit of positioning here as they now just try to cram in over on the edge of zone. Up comes Magma. Also with that 3-piece looking to gain a bit of entry as well. And I mean, such a challenging position to move into. Ooh, a little bit of a drift.
Oh!
And up they go in flames. As Star Vito locks it in, trying to do whatever they can for the squad here. But down south, RS, the only team essentially up in a compound. They are going to be the team to watch here, looking to see how they would maybe look to bounce back. In the meantime, it is going to be Magma, still pushing their way forward, trying to clear the northern edges. 721 coming in hot. Behind them is Koji. He's trying to be an absolute menace. Vito just trying to dip, dive, duck, and dodge his way through the sprays, but Bera cannot avoid it for much longer. The shots are in. Magma feeling the sting, feeling the anger as the aggressors look to push up here. Quick cleanup coming through there as well. So Magma now having to do what they can with a solo up. Koji feeling a little bit emboldened. Right, the adrenaline just absolutely pumping through their veins. But you gotta watch out because it is gonna be short-lived as Puma comes back with a vengeance play. But this is now, again, Puma having to figure out how on earth are they gonna make it into that late stage, because we're still in stage number 6. Still a long, long way to go, and so many potential contenders that could look to play the upset. But Puma trying to do what they can, right? Going for a little bit of loot, trying to upgrade whatever they have available to them. But I think Big Baby is going to be an absolute menace, especially right here on the front line.
Yeah, I think they are indeed. I just want to say shout out to 721. That is a massive, massive flex from Koji there. Those solos, this really is the tournament of the solos. He got 5 eliminations on his own. Really just making sure that gap is widened, and for good reason as well, because Big Baby, right? Look at them. Look how aggressive they're playing. 10 eliminations here. Only a few points behind 721 now. They've put themselves firmly into second place. Team Germany, Amex, and One For All are all out. So there's nothing they can do to catch up right now. So it's really just a fight between 721 and Big Baby. So those 7 eliminations that Koji was able to help towards is going to be so influential, so important coming into this next couple of matches. Because Big Baby looking, even though they only have a trio now at this point, are looking so good for the win. We're into the top 4 now, and it's going to be tough because of how open the zone is, right? You got BRBA, who are still a full squad. You got RS down to the south side, still a trio. Magma is here. Puma's here. He's just a solo, though. Unless there's a lot of backstabbing going on, there's not much that he's going to be able to do, but Strohs needs to be very, very careful here.
Yep, definitely will have to be. Let's see if Strohs is going to go striding over into the pressure cooker, or maybe just dancing around the edges. As Big Baby, they've been putting in so much work. I really like where things are going here for them. Now they got a lock on in. We do see Roy Scar also coming through with a few of their own sprays, also still having quite a contentious number of players in the match. Puma getting snuffed out. That is all she wrote. Down to the final 3 teams. We are Big Baby. 11 eliminations under their belt. They have quite a bit of possession of that northern side of the zone. RS, though, still going to look to bounce back. But they've not yet been able to secure a single elimination. Not one point has come their way. They are, of course, capitalizing on placement points, as the very least they could walk away with here is going to be 5 points. But let's see if they can add some eliminations to the overall tally. BRBA also been keeping a little bit quiet, right? We've been seeing them every now and again, but not really looking to make too much of a statement so far. But especially being in this phase of the game, this is exactly the opportunity for them to come through. Looking to claim control here. But Big Baby, they're just so well positioned. It's going to be very difficult for BRBA to contest.
Yeah, I mean, Big Baby really got a fantastic position here. This little split across the ridge line, giving them so much control and so much information as well. And that's going to be really, really important. Big Baby, not Big Baby, rather, it's going to be BRBA trying to move forward, trying to do anything is going to be shut down pretty much immediately. RS have a great position though as well. Yes, they're outside of zone, but it really just does stop Big Baby from overextending. They can't really come up over that hill too much without getting spotted. So that advantage is going to be numbered here, just because they do have to move into zone in about 30 seconds. We are going to be seeing stage 9 happen, but at that point, it is going to be everybody for themselves. But this is looking more and more like a Big Baby win here. And if that is the case, DK, we are looking at a new #1 team.
Yeah, we could potentially be looking at that. I mean, the point situation is very close. But it's all going to come down to who walks away with that winner chicken dinner, right? Who gets the bragging rights come end of this match. Now it's going to be Roscar looking to push up, as well as Ramon. Just to take us through the glorious 21-point turn. Right, this is how you eventually get out of a compound. You got to watch out for Strush here on the side. This is, a very dangerous position to be in as Phantom. Tries to pop it in, does find beautiful sprays. Now the push into the zone is secured, but they are exceptionally exposed right here on the road. The only cover they have is the cover they brought with them. The vehicle's now being utilized all the way to the full extent. The spray's connecting up. Phantom on the money, but up it comes. Can Phantom survive? The answer is no. Genshin. So now pushing forward here from the side of BRBA. BRBA on fire. Absolutely phenomenal work coming through on their front, and this could be their ticket for that winner chicken dinner. Bad Boy, the only player standing between them and a potential victory. Is that going to be on the cards here? It does seem like the probability for that is almost unequivocally yes. And there's a confirmation as a Bad Boy dips out to the blue, denying the point to BRBA. But what a performance that was. What a win.
I'm a little bit speechless. What happened? What just happened? How were RS able to make that play against Big Baby in the first place? That's what I want to know. How did that work? Secondly, BRBA really able to capitalize on that as much as possible, and the instant rotation coming through for them was very, very good indeed. Gotta give them kudos for that one. Let's see what those leaderboards are looking like. I'm excited now because I think even though Big Baby did go third, I still think, no, 1 point. Oh, 1 point. I thought they were still gonna have it. But just by 1 point, the 721 aggressors stay ahead. Koji doing so much work for the team. Those extra 5 eliminations, just putting so much work in, allowing them to just keep on top of everybody else here. Who else was out there? Big Baby, that was that second place. It was BRBA. Where have they come into? We see them now in 7th place. That's the team that were on the cusp there. They were just sitting in 9th place for most of today, actually. But great game coming in from them. Puts them firmly in that top 7. 10 points away from that lowest prize pool position here, DK. So looking like a really good start to the second half of the game for them.
Yeah, definitely is a good start for them indeed. But yeah, I like where this is going. And to answer your question, is when you asked how they were able to get to where they were, right, RS? Yeah. A lot of pew pew and bra bra, tiki tiki boom. You know, that's kind of a lot of what they did, right? Timing it to perfection. And of course, now sitting on a very comfortable 34 points. So you can see over in that 13th place. Do they have to bring in a lot more of that? Yes, they do have to bring in quite a bit more of that if they are going to be looking to finish strong here. But yep, I like where teams are trying to go, right? I like the pushes that they are applying here. Roscar, of course, really appreciate that. But next up, it is going to be the desert, right? It is going to be Miramar, and the teams will have to prove themselves all over again to see who will be the ones to step up and claim the top 6 slots here at the end of the day. Of course, only one way for us to get into that. It is going to be break time. So see you back in a short few.
Ben sev...
TETO Games.
Aynen. Ya cümle vardı senin başına geçirmeyeceğim.
Tamam. Gidiyorum.
Sen de ay deseniz hala.
TETO Games aynı. Armen'i de aldım dur.
Ben çekiyorum ben de bir şanssız ya.
Every game has a beginning, but some never truly end. Time never stops here. Opponents change, but the stage always stays open. This is not just an ordinary tournament. This is competition renewed every single week. It's not for everyone, only for those who are ready. The best of esports are here. Because this is TETO Games always on. The game never stops.
Evet beyler, yeni skinleri gördünüz mü? Gördüm. Al ve sana yakışmaz mı? Gördüm beyler. Al ve sana yakışmaz mı?
Ya beyler.
Abi ya. Abi şimdi
Ben sev...
TETO Games.
Aynen. Ya şimdi vardıysa başka hiç olmayacak.
Tamam. Gidiyorum.
Sen de ay deseniz hala.
TETO Games aynı. Ahmet'i de aldım dur.
Abi çekiyorum ben de bir şanssız ya.
Every game has a beginning, but some never truly end. Time never stops here. Opponents change, but the stage always stays open. This is not just an ordinary tournament. This is competition renewed every single week. It's not for everyone, only for those who are ready. The best of esports are here. Because this is TETO Games always on. The game never stops.
Evet beyler, yeni skinleri gördünüz mü? Gördüm. Al ve sana yakışmaz mı? Gördüm beyler. Al ve sana yakışmaz mı?
Ya beyler.
Abi ya. Abi şimdi
Ben sev...
TETO Games.
Aynen. Ya şimdi vardıysa başka hiç olmayacak.
Tamam. Gidiyorum.
Sen de ay deseniz hala.
TETO Games aynı. Ahmet'i de aldım dur.
Abi çekiyorum ben de bir şanssız ya.
Every game has a beginning, but some never truly end. Time never stops here. Opponents change, but the stage always stays open. This is not just an ordinary tournament. This is competition renewed every single week. It's not for everyone, only for those who are ready. The best of esports are here. Because this is TETO Games always on. The game never stops.
Evet beyler, yeni skinleri gördünüz mü? Gördüm. Al ve sana yakışmaz mı? Gördüm beyler. Al ve sana yakışmaz mı?
Ya beyler.
Abi ya. Abi şimdi
Ben sev...
TETO Games.
Aynen. Ya şimdi vardıysa başka hiç olmayacak.
Tamam. Gidiyorum.
Sen de ay deseniz hala.
TETO Games aynı. Ahmet'i de aldım dur.
Abi çekiyorum ben de bir şanssız ya.
Every game has a beginning, but some never truly end. Time never stops here. Opponents change, but the stage always stays open. This is not just an ordinary tournament.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Always On Poland Monthly Grand Final. We are here on our first match of Miramar today, but also our second last in Miramar overall, because we played 2 yesterday, we're playing 2 today. And speaking about 2, which 2 teams are going to look to bring in the heat, bring in the pressure as we step into the desert? We don't know, but there's been a lot of contention coming through, especially in this last area, and I'm excited to see what the teams are going to be bringing in, right? So much spite has been displayed in the first 3 games of the day, but will game 4 and 5 continue with that flow?
Honestly, I think it is. They have not stopped playing this way since yesterday. Miramar yesterday in day 1 didn't stop them from doing it. Is it going to happen today? I think it is as well. Normally, I would expect these teams to really slow down, just play a little bit more carefully, a little bit more mindfully, a little bit more slowly, but I don't think the way these teams have been playing so far today, there's not a hint of that happening whatsoever. So honestly, for me, I think we're going to be seeing them do exactly the same thing on Miramar, which I'm here for, right? We're here for all the action. We want to see that start as soon as possible, so I'm not complaining. I'm just like, okay, if that's what you want to do, you want to risk getting 0 points, not my team. You go for it. You go for it.
Yeah, I mean, we did see an interesting thing happen yesterday, right, with the side of 721. Because I don't know if you recall, but they won both the Miramars yesterday. So, there could be an exciting development potentially coming through on that front, right? They've already set the standard, and if they want to increase the lead that they already have, this is going to be exactly that opportunity, because they lead by 1 point, right? Big Baby, they are right there just nipping at their heels, throwing pacifiers and things all over the place. And I mean, if we look at what Big Baby did yesterday, Miramar wasn't necessarily their strongest performance. So if ever they want to play a surprise, these next 2 matches could be exactly that opportunity for Big Baby to try and secure themselves the required amount of points to not only catch 721, but also dominate them a little bit, right? That's what you have to do to ensure that you are the team walking away with the €1,000 as opposed to the team you are trying to catch. Because once we look at what is available in second place, right, that's where things start to drop off a little bit. Again, not a major drop off. It goes from 1,000 to 600. Then you got 400, 250, 150, and 100, right? But I mean, €400, the gap between first and second place, right? That is currently 1 point. That is 1 point worth. Wow. It's €400. So, yeah, there's a little bit of pressure on their shoulders. We wouldn't put too much, not more than they can handle. But I'm excited to see how the teams are going to look to kind of go through that, and what will their mentality be coming into these final 2 games, right? Will we see the squads potentially further down the rankings decide that, you know what, let's go see if we can be a menace. Let's go try and upset some people, right? Maybe let's just go out and play, make Miramar difficult for some of the teams up ahead on those rankings, right? Because they have the power to do that. But at the same time, they might also score a crazy amount of points, right? Like pick up 70 points in 1 game. It's never going to happen. And in doing so, get themselves right up in contention, right? Because I can still see teams sitting on the lower part of the leaderboard contesting for 6th place, right? 6th place is not completely out of reach, but it is going to take an immense level of focus, right? Because 6th place is 60 points, right? So if we look at anybody further down than that, they're going to have to play some beautiful Miramars if they want the share of the prize pool.
They are indeed. Yeah, it's going to be a difficult one for sure. I mean, between 10th and 6th, there's what? 22-point difference. That's not hard to do on a Miramar. As we're going to be getting into Miramar, I'm pretty sure. Did I hear that correctly? I think we're getting into Miramar in just a second here. Yes, we are. Down we go into the dusty dunes. And a really horrendous plane path again here, DK. So we're going to be looking at some hot drops for sure. But yeah, in terms of those points, it's going to be really interesting to see who's going to decide that, the second to last game is momentum enough to really kickstart that point grab coming in here. I'm also going to be looking at Team Germany and Amix, right? Both sitting on 70 points, tied for 3rd right now. So when you talk about €400 being the difference between 1st and 2nd and just that 1 point difference, I'm also looking at Germany and Amix, the tied right now. Both of these teams playing very well. Amix, having a little bit more of a roller coaster day, I think, but when they have a good day, or when they have a good game rather, it's like a 20-point, 13-15 elimination, game. Team Germany have been slightly more consistent today, I feel like, but still, I mean, it's gotten them to the same spot. So for me, 14-point difference between second and third here, all to play for on this Miramar.
Yeah, I mean, it's worth 200 euros, so might as well go for it. I am seeing RSC very close to Monte Nuevo. The zone is also just centered up right there alongside them, right in between Monte Nuevo and Picaro. Oh, yeah, I hope that we're not going to be seeing too many teams pull up into Monte. I mean, it's fine if we have one, but more than one, like I've said before, this is like the Bermuda Triangle of PUBG, right? If teams rotate up into Monte Nuevo, somehow miraculously nothing happens. Right, they can sit there staring at each other, go like, oh, I like your weapon. Oh, I like your helmet. Oh, give it to me. That's exactly what In The Zone said here, as they are now pushing up on Amex. They spotted out some loot that they want to get, and let's see if they can get their hands on it.
Let's see, indeed. I mean, that was a great pistol shot, but AK over pistol any day, I think. That's what's going to be happening here. Somebody's got a Winchester. That is the level of unlootedness we're seeing here from these two teams, right? Because one has got a Winchester and is actually trying to use it. Now, I have nothing against bolties. They're my favorite weapon in the game, but a Winchester? You guys are kind of crazy. We'll be seeing who's going to come out on top here. What? Why? What do you mean,
yes,
why? Winchester.
It's got a scope,
Winchester
it's
is
got
a
ammo,
meme.
it go boom.
I mean, like, it's not a bad weapon. I think it's just become a little bit of a meme. You know, the Winchester is the worst of the snipers. And so generally you don't see it being used unless you have to. And in this case, it looks like they kind of have to because it's the only thing they found.
Yeah, I mean, so, like, I can understand if you take the Winchester with you into the late game. I can see how that's a meme, but yeah, now it's kind of a bit of a nutritional play, right? You gotta grab whatever you can put your hands on and hope it's got enough boom to kind of keep you in the fight here. As In The Zone now, trying to get themselves in the zone to clean it up. They are gonna contest here with Amex. But you were talking about Amex, right? They are so close to Germany, as we can see over on that right-hand side. All they gotta do is hope that this one works out. And so far, things seem to be going quite well here, as Amex have been able to turn it around. Now it's just essentially Risky standing between them and that potential squad wipe. Oh, Havlik just falling short of surviving the res, heading in his direction, but a little bit too slow on the push there. Risky also still has a bit of an opportunity to get his teammates up, but those stairs coming in between him and the longevity of his squad. Now it's going to be a Horseman, I believe, there for the side of BRBA. Meanwhile, Spike, oh, getting insta drop there. Default now looking to contest, and it is shaky all the way through, right? There's no clear team that is going to be walking away victorious here. We'll find out once the fight is wrapped up. But oh, look at that. Default tries to get the shots. Going to duck and dive his way through. Gets the one. Has no meds left. Got the bandages, and that's all he needs. Default gets the play, and Spike can stay in the game a little while longer. But this was almost a little bit too close for comfort for Amex, right? They were like, oh my goodness, we gotta survive. And of course, Team Germany are gonna come rolling in as well, looking to just assert their dominance.
DK, this is a big problem, right? Because Amex and Germany, that's exactly who we were talking about. As this game started, those are the two teams that were tied for that third place. Now, Amex, with that squad wipe, have gone ahead by 4 points, but Amex are just down to a duo, and Germany is definitely not the team that they want to be going up against, and that's exactly who is looking their direction. Hello! Spike goes down pretty easily. There's nothing he can do there. A little bit of a give up there, I feel like. There was literally nothing he could do, and Default now just down to a solo. It's Germany looking to take any points they can, and it's not so much that, you know, they're going to take those points, right? Because 2 points when they need 4 is not going to be enough to do anything, really. But the fact that Amex could go out so early in the game, and Germany, as a full squad, could continue so far in the game, that is going to be the real difficulty here for Amex. They do not want Germany to have that real head start going into the last game.
Yeah. It is going to make things a little bit more challenging for Amex to try and play that game of catch-up. But Already they do have that elimination advantage, and maybe Star could lend a bit of a helping hand here, as we can see them creeping up on the opposite side of the mountain here. Default just needs to play probably the best game of hide and seek that he's played all day. And in the meantime, we are going to be hopping over towards Picado, where we've got Magma as well as 721 and the players from the side of the Caliphate. So let's see what fate will have in store for them here, as Puma and everybody else from Magma going about their looting business. A nice little bit of a spread, right? I think it's quite commendable, especially in Picado, as there's so many little tiny compounds. Not a lot of loot necessarily in one particular point. So you're going to have to spread out a little bit more if you want to get your hands on it. But with the Caliphate now creeping up on 721, ooh, there could maybe be a little bit of something happening here, right? 721, I think their approach in this game is going to be just to kind of keep themselves out of fights. Trying to wait for those late stages before they actually start doing something, right? They don't want to risk it all just yet because they know they are just 1 point ahead of the opposing team coming through from the side of Big Baby. So, yeah, I'm expecting to see a lot more of a strategic angle coming on their end.
We will see about that. These teams, though, taking their time to get into zone. Well, the teams that are still outside of zone, right? We still got Ozorox down to the south side. Of course, Star and Team Germany. Both of those, and Imix, of course. All three of those teams over in Impala, not being able to move any bit closer to the zone. But we still got a little bit of time. Zone 2 is going to be coming in. Is going to be the next one to pop up. And we do see EA7 now. Just that duo going up against... oh, One for All. One for All, finally, putting some points on the board, it feels like. It's been a long time coming. And they have lost 2 for that, so it's a very even-steven game so far. Ooh, nice little headshot coming through there. Just going to take half his health away just like that, and that's going to be a follow-up nade by his teammate. This could actually be a squad wipe for them, but just not the dominant performance we were wanting to see from this team. Very nicely done there. That means Vlad's going to have to fall back a little bit. Oh, and it's a good thing he did. My goodness me, DK. Look at where that molly was placed. He would have been toast, quite literally.
Yeah, Monte Nuevo is literally heating up, and love to see that. But again, as I said before, this is the meta triangle here. Happy to see that One for All not necessarily going for a bit more of a cautious approach here. So we do have Caesar slowly trying to advance. Nebune also going to be keeping the angle there. But finding that rooftop is going to be quite challenging, right? They're going to have to push over the top, and that will fully expose them. They now come running outside going like, hang on a second. I swear there was a guy here just a few moments ago. Nebune now looking across the way. It is going to be Caesar trying to see if he can spot Zero. Or this cheeky nade could be it. Let's see. Can he cook it to perfection? Almost needs to be Zero. Oh, a little bit of an overshoot, but does find some damage. Just needs to try and replicate that again. Unfortunately, doesn't have any remaining nades, right? So that was a one and done situation.
It was indeed. That's going to be the end of that, but still, the fight for Monte Nuevo continues. And again, both these teams outside of zone, as Vlad now with that Tommy gun. I do love a good Tommy gun. Very, very useful weapon in that close range proximity. Does a lot of damage. It's almost like an Uzi, right? It's like a better Uzi, which I'm gonna get a lot of comments about saying it's the better Uzi, but it just is. Anyway, Star and Team Germany look to be going at it in that Elam feed, as is Caliphate and 721 actually. They're really going at it somewhere else on that play zone. As we look over here, they are. Aggressor is down, but it looks like Caliphate might just be getting the short end of the stick here. That is rough for them. Really not had a good day today. They were looking really good, particularly in the second half of yesterday. Hello. But they just have fallen short of the mark for today's games. Just really not been able to see the Caliphate that we saw yesterday, which is very unfortunate. But 721 going to take full advantage of that and be able to take control of that center position that they have.
Oh, I've got the push here by Zero. They're looking to push it. Maybe rush the... Oh, play. Cheeky hit in the kneecaps. Exactly what you got to do. So I think the only reason why you gotta get some comments about why you said the Tommy gun is really good, right? Is because you didn't explain why you said that. Right? You just said it. But let's see what Zero has to say about it as he's about to get pushed. Nabuni really low on ammo. Only got those 6 rounds left. So whatever he is gonna try and do, he has to be really quick about it. But Zero kind of just taunting him here. You can see his teammates slowly bleeding out, keeping Caesar from getting rezzed up. And this is, I think, a missed opportunity here, right? One for All could have gone for that res a long time ago. And now comes the push. Yep, there we go. And that is going to cost him a teammate. Yeah, Nabuni at least managing to survive the push. But does lose pretty much his entire team in that assault. And now in the meantime, speaking about assault, it is going to be the 721 aggressors getting ready to just claim their position here. I said earlier they're going to try and take a little bit more of a passive approach. And that has held true for quite a long time here. But Cam Army, they decided to step up and contest. And now we'll see Rorino sending the nades out, looking to close it up. Gets the one, but not getting the confirmation on the other. And that's just enough for 721 to kind of fall back into their compound, right? They're not out there to get aggressive, to try and wipe squads out. They just want to defend their compound.
And that's nice to see, right? They're not overstepping the mark. They're not going... That's a me play there. What you doing? They're not trying to do too much at once. They're really just making sure that people stay out of their way, and in doing so, go into other teams, right? So that's going to be a really great tactic being used by them, as we see Team Germany now, having lost one, right, in the earlier altercation. They get that trade-off with a point, though, and Amix, still a solo, still managing to stay out of trouble, at least for now. It's going to be able to do something potentially here. One for all, just a solo now, but still managed to creep ahead of Team Germany as well. So Team Germany, they've got time. They don't need to do anything just yet, but it's still something to keep in mind because they are now down into 5th place.
Yep, they definitely are. As we try to heighten the tone here, we go higher and higher as Hozarox look to climb further and further afield, but of course they are pretty alone over on towards this western edge of the zone. Nabuni is going to come pushing through very soon, as you can see him just off in the distance. So Ozrox, they definitely have found the angle, but Nabuni is going to try and survive into those late games, right? He's now going to adopt that same mentality as what we saw come through for the side of Amex, right? Everybody just going to try and get themselves as hidden as they possibly can. But Ozrox, this is their opportunity to shine. They've got that 1 point under their belt. Of course, they are so close to maybe making a bit of a statement here. Of course, first things first, right? They need a whole lot more eliminations because one is not quite going to get them over the line.
No. It's not going to at all. Sometimes that can be the case, right? We did see 721 and Big Baby 1 point away, so in that case it would have done, but not anymore. 721 with those 3 eliminations. Going to be putting them firmly ahead. Well, sort of firmly. 4 points is not exactly firmly, but it's more firm than 1. So we'll see what they can do with that. The big thing, though, is that 721 and Big Baby, both of these teams are full squads still. Now, that isn't surprising when we're looking at we're only in stage 4, but the way that these games have gone so far, that kind of is surprising at the same time, right? That we do have, a full squad in stage 4? Impossible. That's kind of how it feels in a lot of these games, but we're looking over at this zone shift is going over to the west side of Picado. Some really good territory to use here, some really good positions to have. Going to be very fun to see how this one plays out. And Ozorox actually, again, with that wide sweep, full control of the hillsides over to the southwest side, could be very favorable for them. They just have to make sure they keep control. And not so much keep control of the position, right, but keep control of themselves. Don't overextend. If you need to regroup, if you need to give a little space to somebody else, then do it. Don't be afraid to regroup and get that that ball rolling. But yeah, that is a loot truck coming through. I thought that was a hovercraft for a second, but it's not. It's the loot truck, although it's so open, I doubt anybody's going to be really grabbing that one.
Yeah, I'd be worried if I saw a hovercraft on Miramar, right? Because last time I checked, They don't really spawn here, right? So, a little bit of suspicious activity happening. But of course, it's only the loot truck. Go get it. Go rush it. That'll, of course, be my downfall, right? Pushing out to that loot truck, that would be me done right there. On the open here is like,
so
yeah,
true.
loot. Let's go get it.
That
and
is
then
so true.
you and Max would be sitting there shouting at me. He's like, no, DK, come back. Don't do it. I'm like, oh, too late. I'm already there.
Yep. And it's like, oh, well, all right, that's cool. But you know what? That loot truck could be huge in a zone like this. If you shoot it enough times, it blows up, it opens up, and it gives you some really decent cover. So potentially a play to come through here. As Para is going to get blasted to smithereens here. Good nade as well onto 20. An excellent nade. Takes him out immediately. And that's Magma just falling short of the mark here. Another player goes down to, yeah, just more of Big Baby. So that's going to be 3 eliminations going their way. Or 2. He has not been flushed out yet. So that's just going to be the 2. They should be able to get this res going. But that for Big Baby is going to be a huge game coming in hot here as Magma just trying to push out of Picado. Not going to happen. Let's see how this fight ends up going. Another good chunk of damage. These nades are on point here, DK.
Yeah, I mean, Struce definitely had his breakfast of champions this morning. I gotta say, that is looking phenomenal. 2 eliminations up. Nades on the money. But let's see, can they continue with the momentum here as Big Baby are gonna look to push it through. Not quite as clean as they want it to be on the side here, but it is still very much manageable for them. Magma finding themselves in quite a bit of a sticky situation. Player 1 and Puma trying to survive. Not quite sure which way to go as Big Baby starts their advance. We also do see another player there from BRBA also just sneaking up alongside them, just managing to get out of the zone. But Puma has been found, so that leaves player 1 to fend for himself. And this is now where it is going to be that full-on showing of aggression, effortless performance coming through as Struce just again hits the nail on the head. Hit after hit, absolutely phenomenal stuff. But down to 11 we go. So we are still outside of placement point territory. And as you can see, the teams are very, very spread out, especially the players coming through from the side of Ozrox. So I'm curious to see what the approach is from Ozrox. Are they going to look to maybe condense that at some point? But of course, speaking about condensing, Star, right? They've got quite a good setup towards that church. You can see just how open it is down into the field ahead of them. And I think the only point of contention here would potentially be RS. And of course, the players from 721 as they have decent compound over on that southern side. So, yeah, now it's all going to be down to how the teams get themselves positioned.
It is, I mean, it's going to be so important, right? Positioning in this zone in particular is going to be a very important thing to really consider because of how open it is. Because of, yes, you have these little ridges, these little nooks and crannies, these little power points that you can use. There is not one sole defining ridgeline or high ground that you can use to control everybody. It's really such an even playing field that you have to choose your position very, very carefully, I think. And we're starting to see Cam try to do that. You know, that one scout trying to find a position here. If he goes out, then he goes out. It's not the whole team full sending it. Right now, actually, BRBA falling to Cam. At least one. So we'll see how that turns out for them. But Cam have to be very, very careful. Especially because Go Away, one of their star players, I feel like we've been seeing his name a lot in the Elam feed. He is out, so they cannot count on him to get them those points. As we see now Big Baby with those 5 eliminations, actually squeezing ahead of 721, 1 point ahead. Now a new leader on the leaderboard, but 721 still alive and still very much kicking. So that could definitely change by the time we get to the end of the game here.
Yeah, it definitely could change quite a bit. Mela is also now just doing a little bit of target practice there across the way. Unfortunately, not managing to make any meaningful connections. Let's see, maybe they can get a little bit of something better happening as Ozrock still look to play a very wide spread over on towards this western front. And I can kind of understand why they're doing this.
Ooh.
You know, they want to make sure that they have the possession, they have the control, and that nade was just so dirty coming in there as the players from One for All are going to have to settle with what they've been able to bring in so far. 72 points is what they have to show. Interesting to see that Team Germany, they've not really been doing all too much this round, right? They have that one elimination up. They lost the player. But other than that, they've just kind of been quiet. Not really looking to kick up too much dust. So let's see if that is going to change up as we now enter into phase number 6. Of course, Team Germany very well situated within the zone. Just on the very edge of it. Is that going to mean business for them, or will they get contested? At 7:21, keeping their ears open, they can hear the Cam army slowly starting to advance. But is that going to be enough? A lot of those surprise plays that we see replaying out this match.
They are indeed. Oh, this is going to be interesting. Oh, overlay just going down to 1 HP. This is the thing for me, right? I was going to say that Team Germany are in a lot of trouble because it's Big Baby right behind them, having to descend down the hill and having potentially the advantage over them. However, that might just have been cut short by this team, by Cam. They're coming in, they're trying to third-party this a little bit, they're trying to stop them from that rotation, but it looks like Big Baby want nothing to do with it. They're going to push forward anyway. They've said to Cam, hey, we're not going to have this, we're not going to engage with you, we're moving on. So let's see how that's really going to turn out, because for Germany, I think that could be a problem, as RS and Ozorox going head-to-head here. Ozorox getting their first point on the board, but they do have one knocked. RS and Ozorox, actually 4 points difference between the two, right? Ozorox have stepped up in terms of those rotations, in terms of that macro play, but not really able to convert anything onto paper just yet. 11th place is what they have to be satisfied with for now, but they are looking to change that for sure, as the Illim feed, hang on, Big Baby King gonna go on down here.
Well, let's see if they have any stationary at hand. Like you said, nothing has been put to paper just yet, but here comes the push. Tough Love is gonna get wrapped on up. Ozorox trying everything they can think of here to try and close that up, and it does work as Mellors finds the nade to close it off. That is Roskar. Done and dusted. 34 is what they currently have here, but we'll see how that all changes once we get into those standings come end of game. Now 7 teams remaining. We are well within the placement point territory. 7:21 also feeling a little bit of that sting now starting to develop, as they were situated all the way down on that far southern side, but Star are looking to really start to heat it up. Cam Army also going for a little bit more of a spread approach. I think sometimes this is not the worst idea, but getting caught behind a buggy and the wheel and not being able to move, that is definitely not what you want to have happen here. Meanwhile, Kill for Win are going to come through with the nades, as they do find 2 players there. Now it's just up to Aggressor to see, can he tank the nade? Doesn't need to just yet. The second one might be the follow-up, might be the one to close the door. I like this consistency coming through from Soul, right? Soul was also pretty efficient in the previous matches. Beto, though, is going to be the one to find the position, and down they go. Now 6 teams remain. Ozorox coming under fire as well, as they were trying to hold on over onto the far western side. Star very exposed here. Soul, we just praised how amazing Soul was with the nades, but when it comes to hiding behind cover, it seems like Soul gotta watch out for those feet, right? They're still sticking out the end. Is making it quite easy here for Dizzy to come through and play the angles. Obito also very exposed as they try to push forward. But again, not the easiest angle to contest on, as the zone is going to push them forward yet again. Just a few seconds remain. And this is where Cam Army and both the players coming through from Star are going to try and at least secure that rotational pathway, right? But they are, of course, both looking at each other, trying to prevent the other team from getting into position first.
Yeah, I was just thinking about how actually the gameplay has slowed down on this second to last Miramar, right? It's not as crazy as we might have thought it would be. The open terrain is definitely going to contribute to that, but I do think there's a lot of teams here that are really starting to feel the pressure of coming into the second to last game here. It's all to play for. Team Germany now going down to a duo, or maybe even a solo here, as Ozorox are going to be stopping their trajectory very short here. They're going to potentially have to be just content with that 4th place, right? 1 point behind Amix. Amix still a solo, still here, still kicking in the center of zone, like literally in the center of zone. He found this really nice little dip and has just stayed put the entire time. And now that the top 2 teams are out, right, it's not enough, or there's too many points to be taken by AMX to get that 2nd place, and as a solo, it's not going to happen, but they can still keep going. They can still close that gap a little bit just on placement, because we are in the top 5. Germany as well in the top 5 here. 3 eliminations on their side. Definitely looking at those. That is the big storyline here, because the top 4, I mean, yes, now there's starting to be a little bit of a gap, right? But they're still very much fighting each other. Oh, never mind. What a brilliant nade coming through here. Fantastic bounce on that one as well. So that's going to be Team Germany.
Oh.
Out. Oh, Nozarox looking in full control here.
Yeah, no, they definitely do. But now they just got to improve that position a little bit more, right? Melas does need the reinforcements. Oh!
Oh, the double nade.
I mean, I say that, and Melas is absolutely on fire. Doesn't seem like he needs help, but he does, right? Because he's all up there ahead of his team. He could definitely do with just a little bit of that fortification. But now, let's see whether or not Melas is going to go on a blazing spree yet again, as Star is going to look to push on forward. Of course, aside from that, right, we do have Cam also still in the fight. Cam Army. Oh, sneaking in a cheeky spray onto Melas. See, this is exactly why I said Melas needs reinforcements. And that is going to be closed now. Just closing the door there. Fortunate turn of events here for Ozrox, but they still have 2 players up, just trying to inch their way closer and closer to the zone. The Cam Army with the setup here, this could be quite detrimental to the advances coming through for Ozrox. You can see they just get caught out in the open. Leon just absolutely bullied. Blue getting picked up as well. And this could be their ticket now getting punched. This Cam Army is just such an absolute menace on the side, and Star gonna full send it. Oh, yep, that is a wrap. Down goes Leon. And very quick closure coming through for the side of Ozrox. But now, we're down to the final 2. A 1v3 showdown. Potentially a 1v4 if they can get sold back in the fight. But it doesn't matter at this point, as they just need a few accurate hits to close it up. And that is going to be it. But, almost serving it on a platter to close there.
Oh my goodness, that was so close. Oh my, I mean, that was a big push coming through. And he does get that knock, and I thought, oh, okay, maybe he can do it. Maybe he can get this win, snatch it away. But no, the buggy had other plans. My goodness me, great win coming in from them. Big GGs going all the way around. A very interesting game. I mean, I think we did see a massive slowdown in pace, as we look over on our leaderboards. We'll see how all that ended up shaking on down. But yeah, big switch up in pace here, and I think that is exactly what we needed to see. There we go. Leaderboards are in place. 7-2-1 have to be content with 2nd place for now. 3 points different now between the two, between them and Big Baby. It's not a lot, but it is enough. If we stopped right now, Big Baby would win. So one more game, 7-2-1 have to pull out all the stops here.
Yeah, I like where Big Baby's going with this. Of course, you know, playing the upset, we did see there being a 1 point difference. Now, of course, it's changed. The order swapped around, and it is also then a 2 point gap. But yeah, we are looking at Magma also getting quite close here, right? You can see them also now up to 60 points as well. So there's always a little bit of a stress point being applied. But Magma, we've not really had any major changes on their end, right? Cam Army, they did jump up from 47 points all the way up onto 60. So I love the upward movement that they've been able to bring in here. But it's going to be still a sweaty fight all the way to the finish. I think all the way to Ozrox, right? Ozrox up to Cam Army. Any of those teams can be the team to take that 6th position. So there's going to be quite a bit of pressure. And of course, yeah, there's going to be a big fight to see who will be the team sitting at the top of the leaderboard come end of day. So quite a bit to look forward to as we are preparing for our final match of the day. And of course, the teams are going to let it all loose, right? Run in there, hats lying on the ground. It's going like, we're here to upset everybody. And of course, excited to see that all happen. But before we get there, we are going to have to take a quick break, so be sure to stay tuned, and we'll be right back after the highlights.
This is competition renewed every single week. It's not for everyone, only for those who are ready. The best of esports are here. Because this is TETO Games always on. The game never stops.
Evet beyler, yeni skinleri gördünüz mü? Gördüm. Al ve sana yakışmaz mı? Gördüm beyler. Al ve sana yakışmaz mı?
Ya beyler.
Abi ya. Abi şimdi
Ben sev...
TETO Games.
Aynen. Ya şimdi neredesin? Başka hiç yok.
Tamam. Gidiyorum.
Sen de ay deseniz hala.
TETO Games aynı. Ahmet'i de aldım dur.
Abi ben çekemem ben de bir şanssız ya.
Every game has a beginning, but some never truly end. Time never stops here. Opponents change, but the stage always stays open. This is not just an ordinary tournament. This is competition renewed every single week. It's not for everyone, only for those who are ready. The best of esports are here. Because this is TETO Games always on. The game never stops.
Evet beyler, yeni skinleri gördünüz mü? Gördüm. Al ve sana yakışmaz mı? Gördüm beyler. Al ve sana yakışmaz mı?
Ya beyler.
Abi ya. Abi şimdi
Ben sev...
TETO Games.
Aynen. Ya şimdi neredesin? Başka hiç yok.
Tamam. Gidiyorum.
Sen de ay deseniz hala.
TETO Games aynı. Ahmet'i de aldım dur.
Abi ben çekemem ben de bir şanssız ya.
Every game has a beginning, but some never truly end. Time never stops here. Opponents change, but the stage always stays open. This is not just an ordinary tournament. This is competition renewed every single week. It's not for everyone, only for those who are ready. The best of esports are here. Because this is TETO Games always on. The game never stops.
Evet beyler, yeni skinleri gördünüz mü? Gördüm. Al ve sana yakışmaz mı? Gördüm beyler. Al ve sana yakışmaz mı?
Ya beyler.
Abi ya. Abi şimdi
Ben sev...
TETO Games.
Aynen. Ya şimdi neredesin? Başka hiç yok.
Tamam. Gidiyorum.
Sen de ay deseniz hala.
TETO Games aynı. Ahmet'i de aldım dur.
Abi ben çekemem ben de bir şanssız ya.
Every game has a beginning, but some never truly end. Time never stops here. Opponents change, but the stage always stays open. This is not just an ordinary tournament. This is competition renewed every single week. It's not for everyone, only for those who are ready. The best of esports are here. Because this is TETO Games always on. The game never stops.
Evet beyler, yeni skinleri gördünüz mü? Gördüm. Al ve sona yakışmaz mı? Gördüm beyler. Al ve sona yakışmaz mı?
Ya beyler.
Abi gel. Abi kimdir bu?
Ben sev...
TETO Games.
Aynen. Ya şimdi Mardin'sin başına geçirmeyeceğim.
Tamam.
Gidiyorum.
Sen de ay deseniz hala.
TETO Games aynı. Ahmet'i de aldım dur.
Abi çekiyorum ben de bir şanssız ya.
What's up, everyone, and welcome back to the always on performance play that we are looking at here. Of course, it is Poland stepping up to the plate here for the monthly grand final. It has come down all the way to the very end to see who's going to be the team to sit at the top and smile back at everybody else walking away with €1,000 in their pocket. So far, it seems like Big Baby has been trying to play the upset here. They did, of course, swap places with 721 coming into that last game. But it's all going to boil down to what the teams can do. As I said before, right, there could still be a realistic shift all the way in that up to 6th position, right? So many teams very close to gaining entry into that. And so for a team like Cam Army, they really have to play with a different approach coming into this game, right? They have to decide, are they going to play a little bit more of a defensive position or go for the offensive? As we can see, they are sat there on 60 points, tied with Magma Team. But Magma Team in the previous game, nothing really went their way. So it's hopefully going to change up as we step into this next game.
It might indeed. The way Magma have been playing, again, yeah, you're not seeing it too much translate into numbers, but what they're doing in game is definitely enough for me to worry me if I was part of Cam Army, right? If I was that team. BRB Esports as well, BRB A rather, they have been moving back and forth throughout this whole thing, right? They've been on the first half of the leaderboard, back down into 9th place, back and forth. So I really am going to be looking for them to just come out strong in this final match. It's only one more match to go. You guys can do it. Hopefully it's not going to be as open of an end game as we saw in that last game, just because it does make it very difficult for a lot of teams to do anything.
Yeah, I mean, especially for a team like Kill for Win, that was a great game, right? The previous match, right? They walked away with 10 eliminations and that winner chicken dinner, an absolutely good performance on their end. Ozrox also, I think that they kind of brought quite a bit of strategy onto the battlefield. It didn't all exactly click out for them, as we saw them just getting absolutely rushed, right? Everybody that was left kind of just honed in and focused on them, as they were just trying to get into the zone. I don't know what the what the upset was for, but either which way, the team's keeping the spice alive there, and that is exactly what we want to see coming through from the rest of the lobby. And I mean, I gotta say, I'm pretty impressed with what Amex has been able to do today, right? Yesterday they had what you could probably say was a little bit of a lull, right? Today they've kind of just come back. They are so much stronger, as we saw.
Yeah.
They started off the day super aggressively, and they've kind of just kept up with that consistency, right? Kind of just keep on doing things, right? Getting points, making sure that they are just creeping closer and closer and closer. And, of course, going into the final match, set all the way in 3rd place, they're going to be absolutely beaming.
Yeah. Yeah, they are. I think they still got a little bit to do. If they're aiming for that 1st place, that is still going to be tough with only one game left to go. The way that both of those teams above them are playing, that is going to be tough. But if anybody can do it, I mean, we've seen Amix now twice today get double-digit elims, like by a lot, 21 elims or 20 elims, and then like at least 14, 15. So definitely something to look at when you're thinking about if any team can really just smash it out of the park, it's going to be Amix. So definitely going to be looking towards them as well. But honestly, I'm really happy with how the top 4 have been playing today. Very consistent, very aggressive, but very smart as well. So I'm really liking what we're seeing there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking at Amex's scores that they've been able to bring in so far, right? They've been able to secure themselves 52 points so far today, right?
Wow.
Yesterday, they had 26. Today, so far, they've been able to double the amount of points they scored yesterday, right? So in the first game, they doubled the points, just straight up double, right? But now they are essentially triple from where they were, right? So they've got 26 times 3, puts them where they are right now. So very exciting stuff coming through on their side. I really like what these teams are doing, and Amex just showing us that it is absolutely doable. You could really just come soaring up those rankings if you play with the right kind of focus. So I'm curious to see if anybody else is going to try and potentially maybe match them as they go forward. But it's all going to come down to this last match, right? Whatever you can't accomplish here, it's it. That's done, right? You got to settle for what you are dealt, and excited to see what that is going to be. But in the meantime, we are going to be prepping ourselves to get over onto the map to see what the flight path is going to be bringing through. And of course, where the zone's going to be going. The first one was a pretty tough flight path, very south. This time around, very west.
Very west indeed. Let's see if that's going to really put a spanner in the works of any of these teams, though. It might. We've seen it happen before. Again, might be something going over to El Pozo here. They've dropped a little bit early to go anywhere else, I feel like, and that's 3 teams potentially going in that direction. Amix staying away from the crowds. They've gone up to the north side, over by Telegobriera. They're looking good over there. Again, another little bit of a conglomeration of teams over by Chumacera as well. But no hot drop in Monte Nuevo. That's nice to see. But yes, definitely. Actually, definitely a hot drop over in Chumacera. I think here, DK. Look at what we're looking at. I think that's 721. No, it's not 721. Who is that? It's RS and someone else. I can't see.
TBD.
TBD. Yes. Indeed, quite. We will figure that out ASAP. As we're looking. RS and BRBA, that's exactly who we were talking about a moment ago, right? They're on that cusp. They need 7 more points to get into 8th place. They want to stay in the conversation, and right now the hot drop might mean that that's not going to really happen too well. We'll see. But that is definitely going to be something that could go very badly for them. RS losing 1 in the process. But yeah, it's just that back and forth going on right now.
Yeah, nothing wrong with a good, decent bit of back and forth coming through as we're just waiting to see what is going to be happening here. We do see the players there from Cellophate also having to face the music as Ozerox is looking to double down, getting a few plays in. See if those get converted into points. Now it's going to be BRBA up against RS right here in Chumacera. The locks are in. Dennis is down. But it's not close to being contested just yet. Let's see now. Germany also just patiently waiting all the way in Los Leones. Ooh. Gallifate looking to do whatever they can, but Team Germany just on the money already, cleaning up the first player. But this is Los Leones, right? There's a lot of space for both these teams to move around and not even find each other. So somebody went off in the wrong direction. Meanwhile, over in Chumacera, it's a very abrupt end coming through here for Rosecar as they get absolutely whittled away. BRBA looking to save the day. 4 eliminations up.
Aren't they just? My goodness me. That is going to be a really good start. I was a little bit worried for them for a moment, but they are good. They bounce back nice and easy. Team Germany, though. Not a team who wants to go out early. They are going to be able to get this res, but they've already lost 1, DK, so that does mean that they're going to be put on that back foot. 1 point between them and Amix right now. Only 5 between them and 1 for all, so definitely in an uncomfortable position right now. On the other hand, though, Caliphate have lost 2. So that could be a real problem, but not when you have a buggy coming straight towards you. Easy spray. Down goes Team Germany. Down to a solo just like that. I don't know what to say. Team Germany have... They've basically... They do not have a chance to get further than they have now. That's it. They're done. Even as a solo this early on in the game, they're not going to be able to do enough they're going to have to just be satisfied with 4th, maybe even 5th place. I feel like even if Gentleman wins this against King, right, or against Shadow, the duo here of Caliphate, even if he wins it, he's not going to have that longevity that he needs to get further ahead. So that is definitely going to be something really sad. My goodness, they just didn't know that they had the spread that they did, and that is going to be them absolutely upset with that decision making.
Yeah, well, the DPS coming in clutch there. So, King quite happy with the turnaround, but now it's going to be Gentleman. Oh, getting caught with his hand in the pull box. Unfortunately, not going to be enough, but down they go. Yes! Ah! Do it! As Shadow just kind of drives that point home. Magma, though, they're going to be rolling and patrolling, looking for somewhere to go. They're going to be heading further and further into the zone. Of course, phase 1 slowly coming to an end, but nothing too overly aggressive as the teams continue to push up here. They're going to look to find the next position to move into. La Driera is where we see them pretty close to, just on the northern side there. And are they going to settle for that? No. Ooh, Big Baby also going to be making a push further and further afield. I'm not sure where they're going to choose to move into as they pull up. Oh, okay. So they are just outside of Hacienda del Patron, just up towards the northern side. Well, actually, just towards the eastern side of it. Actually, as they now continue to try and put a little bit more distance in. Again, a very casual looting phase, right? They're not really in too much of a rush. They're just going to go about their business. Meanwhile, Cam Army, very similar situation here, right? Again, very spread out. So, curious to see where the teams are going to look to condense into next.
So am I. We still have a lot of teams coming that need to come in, rather. Amex being one of them, having a very slow rotation because they don't need to do anything else. They have that time afforded to them. Cam actually have a really big split across Minas Generalis, which isn't uncommon. You see that a lot on teams that actually do drop here. However, you know, as that zone starts to move in, as teams are going to start to move in, you might want to regroup a little bit earlier. Teams, you never know what teams are going to be sneaking up on you. As we look forward to Cam, who we were just talking about, moving through, just chilling, just big chilling. That's all they need to do. At this point, that's what all these teams need to do. It's really interesting and really good, actually, that we're seeing the change of pace that we are seeing here. Nobody is being super aggressive. It's the last game. They know how close all the points are, and they know how much is at stake here. So definitely the right play here, and I think we're going to be here for a little while here, DK.
Yeah, well, we might be here for a little while. Of course, as we know, there's a time limit on how far this game can go. So, sooner or later, all great things must come to an end. But for now, the teams are very widely spread out all across the map. And I think, to some extent, I'm not really upset about that, right?
Mm-hmm.
It is going to come down to, I think, strategy. Moving into the final phase to see who will be the team crowned as the charge leader. Who's going to be the team with the most points on the board. I think especially for a team like Big Baby, keeping themselves somewhat separated is going to be a good strategy. 721 doing the similar kind of thing, but of course they've gone for slightly more centralized positioning. So both teams adopting very similar angles, neither looking to get themselves exposed. RSC though, they are just going to full send it here. Moving up onto the edges of the zone, looking for a bit of a position to contest. But is that going to be enough? Will they be allowed to move up into Power Grid, as the zone, of course, has moved well ahead of them as well? There's still a bit of an opportunity for them to maybe get the jump in on the Rangers. But if that is what they want to do, they can't go in one player at a time, right? They're going to have to bring the full team in here. At least with 3 players on that front line. Good overwatch coming through here from Zem. But now RSC is starting to let the nades fly. Savage does find the first one. Maddie is down. Oh, quick follow-up is there. Shots trying to rain on in. Savage could spot the angle through the wall here. Boom, running right past it and gets dropped instead as close from the Rangers. That's it, really close on that one. RSC now looking to bounce back, and there's still one player for them to find, at least out on the edge of the blue. close now, trying to make a bit of a gap happen here. Is going to get chased on down. We do see Zem also there on the opposing side, but not really having the angle. It's all down to whether or not Close can wiggle and wangle his way out of this pressure position. But for ISC, though, good recovery that they've been able to bring in.
It is indeed. It might just be another one. Ooh, the double point, the pincer move coming in there. Just make sure that Close cannot get that advantage he wanted. The aim was good, but the pincer move is what got him. That nade was really good from the backside. There we go. That's going to be RSC in full control now, but this is the problem. They're 2,000 meters away from stage number 2. The zone is starting to move in. It's not really damaging just yet, but it is enough. When you think about having a fight and the blue damage combined, that is going to start to be a problem now. As in the zone, living up to their name, going to try and contest this.
Yeah, but this... I mean, yes, they do secure the knock, but being so far removed from zone, this is not the best place to fight, right? You definitely want to fall back into the safe zone, as there's a lot more longevity there, right? This blue is not the same as it is over on the map of Erangel or even on Rondo. You can't really afford to get caught out in this late stage 2, especially as it's about to hit 3. Damage is going to ramp up, and you might not have adequate meds to safely and securely make it into that next phase. Oh, here we go. Zone, of course, pulled all the way over to the fields of Impala. So that is going to be a very long rotation coming through for whomever survives this fight. You can see RSC now trying everything they can. Trying to throw everything but the kitchen sink at it. And I'm surprised to see that Zem is kind of still just on the edge there. Of course, he has been knocked on down, so they are trying to recover with their solo. But I think for in the zone, this would have been the prime opportunity to grab a vehicle and start rotating away, right? Don't get too hyper-focused on securing this elimination, because this might cost you the fight.
Oh, hello! That door opening, that was very funny, but he does manage to somehow stay away from those effects. There we go, in the zone, gonna be able to take them out once and for all. And they're gonna still be up as a full squad. I mean, it was maybe worth it, but that trajectory into zone is gonna be really, really tough. They are not going to like doing that at all. Hopefully they have enough meds to get them there. Meanwhile, you do see Amix taking over that position that Cam once had. They've moved on, so Amix have replaced them. They're on that north side. They're just going to be big chilling. Where did Cam actually go? So Cam have moved forward, I think just into the center zone. I can't quite see. But it does look like that is where they've gone. Yeah, Cam, you see them in orange there. They've gone into sort of, actually south. More of the south side, but we do have another open finish here, DK. That is going to be interesting to watch, because in some ways this is even more open than the last game, right? Because you do not have those ridges, those dips necessarily. It's kind of just one long downhill slope towards Impala. So this is going to definitely be an interesting final game we've got here.
Yeah, it definitely is, and it's going to get a lot more interesting very quickly, as we still have 12 teams left in the lobby, and the time for them to kind of just sit back and relax, hold their positions is over, right? They're all going to have to try and cram into this next position here. And here we go. Amex up on the north. Nobody there to contest. A good position for them to be in right now. Hopefully they can kind of continue holding here, as they don't feel that pressure coming through from the side of Team Germany anymore, right? Germany has been taken on down. So all for one, this is their chance to kind of regain what's been slipping, right? What's been going wrong so far. Will they be able to get that job done? Right in the center of the zone is where they find themselves. In the meantime, Ozrox is going to come pushing through over on towards southwestern side. Creeping further up to the edges, looking for that next position, that next angle. The blue, though, is going to be closing up. Blue is going to get picked up. Up into La Bendita we go. BRBA also looking to kind of just expand their overall reach. The nade bouncing off of the tree. PC, unfortunately, not managing to get that right where he wanted it to go. Ooh, follow-up nade comes through from the opposing side, but look at Melas though, really helping out his teammate here, and this is now that send moment for PC. Just quickly repositioning around the hillside, looking to see if he can clutch it up. It's BRBA in the meantime, trying to see if they can maybe either recover their teammates. It is Kenshin and Horseman, but they are going to feel the full brunt of that Ozrox push just descending down upon them. But again, look at the strategy coming through from Ozrox, right? Playing for that 3-1 position. Up comes Leon, looking to clear out the building, trying to see if they can assess where the opposing team might be. Not having the exact position just yet, but is going to go up on the roofs, utilizing the top of the building as beautiful cover. He's going to be spotting Kenshin out there, allowing him quite a bit of an opportunity to run right up to them. Oh, maybe going for the cheeky plays is maybe not the name of the game here, right? You're going to have to focus on those gun skills as opposed to trying to pick up players with nades.
Well, the problem is the only player he picked up was himself. He self-naded. That's why PC got knocked. That is really hard to swallow there, but his teammate is going to be the one in charge. There we go. That is going to be BRBA. Well, eventually getting that done and dusted. Leon did try to do something there, but was not enough. And that's going to be Horseman. Able to keep his team alive as a duo. Oh, hold on, though. Have to be very careful here. Actually, in the zone. They did lose one to the zone, which happens when you have a long rotation like that. But they've just come in behind BRBA. Potentially a very good position for them to take here. Depends on how prepared they are for this. It looks like they might be in terms of that health, in terms of those, the stuff they've got. But it could be a really good position for them to enter the zone in.
Yeah, it definitely could be. Let's see if they'll be able to have the success they're looking for in the meantime. Big Baby looking to cook up the nades. Really close to the players here from One For All. But One For All can't really afford to fall down here. I mean, Big Baby, this is them just flexing, right? Like, yeah, you know, 721, they've caught up with us with regards to points, but yeah, we're yet to secure eliminations. So I think realistically, if Big Baby wants to claim pole position, they're going to have to get a little bit more involved, like they are attempting to do right now. But unfortunately, One For All, they can't really afford to have any casualties come their way. They need to try and survive as best they possibly can. In the meantime, it is going to be the players here from In The Zone also looking for that entry point as you were talking about, right? 721 right ahead of them. BRBA also still right in the mix as well, and now it's going to be a full-on send. Can we see Goats maybe unlock this position? Listening to all the footsteps ahead. Whiskey has been found out. Oh, there we go. The cleanup. Aisle 4 coming through. One down, one more to go. Horseman has been spotted. You can see Risky sneaking his way on through. Oh, but a lot of the nade play. Players really overcooking those nades, Theo.
Does seem that way, yeah. They've got to really pick the pace up if they, there we go, if they want to get their teammate back up and running right, because now 721, of course, they're trying to move in as well. And it's just a big old fight over onto this compound for no real reason other than just trying to make sure that as few teams as possible enter into the next phase, because you just want to make sure that you control teams, that you control the area. And 721 next up to do just that, it looks like. They're going to just try to keep this team out, but they're not overextending. It's just Rarino here. He's trying to make sure that he has info, that he has control, but that he's not going to lose, because right now in the final game, 2 points behind Big Baby, they cannot afford to lose a player here. We are going to be having to keep an eye on both of them. Another team I want to keep an eye on, though, as the zone moves further in, is actually One For All, because they are smack dab, well, nearly, about as smack dab as you can get, center zone right now. Can they make first at this point? No. Can they do better than they have? Can they get more than 5th place, especially with Germany out? Absolutely. 5 points between them and Team Germany, and Germany are out. So definitely an opportunity here to have a big game and get up ahead. But 721, oh, not what they wanted to have at all. The bike goes down, new player goes down, 721 and Cam going head to head here. It's pretty even. Oh, great spray from Go Away. And that's going to be 2 players of 721 going on down. 721, man. 1 point between them and Big Baby. The fight for first. They cannot end like this.
Yeah, but a good step up going through here from Cam Army, absolutely making it near impossible for 721 to survive, as Aggressor is going to be looking to hold on, but it's not going to be clean push just yet. As you can see, Dizzy getting spotted and picked up. Big Baby raining in from across the zone. This is where Cam Army now needs to make a very important decision, right? Are they going to try and overcommit to that engagement, or use this opportunity to reposition as the blue is going to be closing in? Amex also feeling the sting here on the edge. They're trying to ride that wave, pushing forward. Kill for win. Also quite battered and bruised as they try to pick all their players back up, get those health bars into a lot more of a substantial position. But the mountain is going to be the point to try and push against. Now 721 getting absolutely rushed. Aggressor trying to hold true, but down he goes as Cam Army closes everything through here. Ooh, nice parking job being done there by Dizzy as he goes for a little bit of a no stall. In the meantime, in the zone are going to be trying to push up as well, but Magma team right here alongside them. Quite a bit of a shake-up either which way. 20 on the money with that nade though. Does find Goats. Fortunately, the rest of in the zone a little bit further away. But do they have any considerable cover to work with here as the push is going to come in? Magma team now kind of pushing up blindly. A lot of the smokes, making those positions quite difficult to figure out, but the shots connect. Not only is it coming through from the side of in the zone, it's coming in from that southern side as well, as the Cam Army look to be absolutely relentless in their onslaught. But a quick fallback though here from in the zone could be a saving grace as Dark now pops it in, but down he goes. Risky. The final one left to carry the name of his team forward. Can they find the placement points? Can they maybe get the wipe in on Team Magma?
I mean, Magma, again, this team, I said it before this game started, right, that they have been unable to really convert their strategy into points, but they have been playing, in my opinion at least, so well this evening. So very excited to see that they're here in the top 7 again. They've been consistently in that low placement point range. And the splits that they've been using, the control that they have in the mid-game has been really, really good. So very excited to see if they can continue that in this last game, as Dark will go on down. He bleeds out. So that's going to be another point over to Magma here. Amix as well on the edge, just trying to clear out any of those edge players that haven't made it into zone. But now they are the edge player that hasn't made it into zone. And actually they've chosen a really difficult position. Oh, hang on a second. Start. Kill for win. Might just lose a player here trying to get that flush. Yep, he does get flushed away. So that's going to be kill for win down to a trio. I was going to say that Amex have actually chosen a really difficult position to enter zone into, but Cam actually moving down to the south side, putting kill for win in a really hard spot. And yeah, Amex are going to be moving away. A very smart decision coming in from them. That was not a play that they wanted to make. It's going to be instant death if they stayed there. So nice regroup, nice reposition there coming in from them. Kill for win, however, a little bit stuck in this spot. There's not much they can do. Their vehicles are smoking, battered and bruised. They have to just wait it out.
Yep, wait it out they shall. So let's see what is going to come through now for the rest of the lobby. We did see Risky getting taken down, so I believe that is the end of the road for in the zone. Now with 6 teams remaining, everybody pretty much focused over on towards the eastern side as Magma have full possession of the west. But is that going to be enough for them to start a bit of that snowball effect? Oh, Overladdy though, rushing right into that nade. Absolutely on the money. Baban though quickly trying to respond. They know there is quite a bit of tension building right ahead of them. Don't want to get caught in the cross nades. But also just listening to the shots going off behind them, they have to make some very tough decisions, right? Are they going to look to maybe gatekeep the advances coming through from the players there from Kill for Win? Or are they going to look to just kind of break away, move into a stronger setup and fight from within the safety of the zone. Cam Army also just lurking over on that far side. So there's so many critical points here to keep an eye on. As you can see, Soul trying to peer over the ledge. Spots close. Nabuni getting hit with a nade as well. Amex going in for the cleanup. But now it's going to be Frizz. I don't know if they know where Frizz is situated, so there's still quite a bit of a tough position here for Amex to try and play through. Ooh, the nade comes up top, and down it goes. One for all, getting swept away. Amex absolutely on fire here.
How did he know? That bounce was perfect. Amix really trying their darndest to get further ahead than they already are. I mean, 3 points on the board is not a lot. They need a lot more than that in order to really do something here. But a top 5, if they position themselves properly, if they can get a good spot in zone, maybe get some really good timing on a third party, something like that, we could be looking at them certainly, you know, getting closer to 7-2-1. Remember, 7-2-1 are out right now, so for sure they could be a potential to get into that second place position, as Magma is the next to fall at the hands of Amix. You can see that momentum. Never mind, I can't talk about teams, DK. Amix down to a solo and just about, oh, for goodness sake.
Yeah, you're not allowed to talk about the teams.
So
you can just
sorry,
say like,
Amix.
oh, there's pretty noises coming from the battlefield, right? And then that way we don't upset the teams. But oh, down goes Spike as Struss comes through with a beautiful third-party play here. Absolute major upsets. Down to the final 4 we go. We've got Big Baby, we've got Cam Army, Magma, and then of course Star stepping up as well. But only one of those 4 teams can be the star of this match. Only one chicken dinner up for grabs. Who will be the team to close it off? Big Baby now again just coming through with the flexes. 20 coming through with a little bit of a misfire there. Oh, Struss though pushing up, getting shot at. 20 looking to get some loot here, some much needed loot. Needs those extra bits of meds. Anything we can find here if he wants to try and survive this next few moments. Player 1 though getting popped off here, as you can see King just reaching over the ridge, spraying across the zone. Seems like King is at a buffet, right? Can't really decide which way to look at. There's just so many players to fight, and he's like, give me more. But you got to be careful what you ask for, because there could be just a little bit too much coming on through. Fortunately, though, the backup is there. As you can see, Big Baby already up to 6 eliminations. Mac was sitting on a very comfortable 5. Can they enter the zone? They are going to get tested here by Struss, and down goes Struss, though. Agma still on the money. Going for the confirmation, looking to make it 6 potentially. Just a waiting game now, but Big Baby. Again, this is where you need to be a little bit humble, right? You can't look to overextend it all too much just yet. And of course, Magma now having the advantages. They've got 3 players alive in this game.
They are still going for it. Again, Magma could win here. That would be a great boost for them. Especially when we're talking about that top 6, right? Because they were tied with Cam. Cam is still here as well. So it's going to be very much neck and neck for both of those teams. So a win here would really solidify who is going to get prize pool and who is not. As 20 does go on down, I really got to stop talking about teams. My goodness me, that's a back-to-back on my end here, as Big Baby also going to be looking for that control. But what's really interesting is, of course, because it's so open on that side, on the west side rather, is that there's no teams over there, so everybody is crammed in far more than they need to be just because of the terrain. So it's gonna be interesting. Big Baby down to a solo at this point in time. Spots 1. Can he make it happen? Yes, he can. Up he comes, and now it's gonna be Cam taking him down. Done, dusted. 2 teams, Star and Magma. No, Cam and Magma rather coming through here. Big battle for 6th place.
Yeah. I mean, it was essentially Star, Magma, and Cam all in contention for 6th place, right? We know now where Star has ended, as we're down to the final 2, but as now it's between Magma and Cam Army to see who will be allowed to get that share, as you said. It's all going to come down to how they play these next few moments. Cam Army with a 2-piece, not quite sure why Close decided to go into a vehicle out in the open field. Oh, gonna get the spray. Yes, he does pick up Vera. One down, a few more to go. As Cam Army now looks to even everything out. Is he trying to close the distance as they're getting ready for that full send, looking for the position over on towards player one. Oh, but again, the vehicles. Why are you doing that? Move up, but down they go. In flames. Team Magma coming in clutch, walking away with the winner with a chicken dinner, but the big baby team are going to be our champions here as they will reign supreme, dealing out some pacifiers to everybody that needs one.
Yes, indeed. A big old GG coming over to Big Baby. Love to see that. Their just consistency throughout today has been on point. Really, really good work. They didn't even need to win that game, and they were ready to go. They have actually a really decent lead as we're about to head over to those leaderboards, right, DK? I mean, the lead that they've got here is pretty crazy. I'm also going to want to see the top 6, one for all. Oh, wait a second here. One for all dropped to 6th place. Cam tied with them, but unable to surpass them, so they miss out on the prize pool as Magma jumps into 4th.
Yeah, that was a very sweaty play, and absolutely phenomenal work being done by Big Baby to hit 104 points in total. Absolutely magic. Love where that all is going. But it turns out that for one for all, right, the 2 points that they were able to secure in this last game was just enough to keep them in that top 6 slot. Cam Army, Magma, and of course then the players coming through there from Kill for Win, trying everything they could to catch up, but only one team could make it in, right? A very, very exciting play. And Magma, you gotta give them some props here, right? Finishing strong in 4th place, really exciting stuff. Love where that has all been going. But look at the overall leaderboard, right? All the way down to, I'd say, even the Rangers, right? 41 points. Not that far away from the 6th place, right? Had there been 1 or 2 games extra, we could have been looking at a completely different top 6.
Well, exactly. I mean, if we had 6 games a day instead of the 5, I mean, that is really what it comes down to, right? It's a real tough lobby. It's been really fun to see how even it's actually been. I think the gap has only been widened in the last sort of 4 games or so. Apart from that, it was really anybody's game. So some really good work coming in from them. Also, quick shout out to Big Baby for crossing 100 points on that, right? So we did see that 100-point threshold being just surpassed there. Very nice to see that. But yeah, a very, very close lobby. I'm very excited to see what goes on from here on out, right? What the next season is going to look like.
Yeah, I got to also say that, shout out to Cam Army. Same consistency, good performance that they've been able to bring on through. They finished higher this season than what they did in the previous season. So up is up, right? I like that.
Yeah.
But we want to see them now try and see how far they can push it, right? Can they get even higher in the next season as well? So a lot to look forward to, of course, going through from these teams. But yeah, a lot of excitement on the battlefield. Love what everybody has been doing. Big GG going out to Big Baby for getting the overall win here. And of course, big thank you to all our viewers, right? And everybody that tuned in to come and support the teams. And of course, shout out going out to production. And much love going out to TETO Games for bringing a lot of excitement here with the Always On series, right? Season 2, absolute blast. Look forward to seeing the next. And on that one, we are going to wrap it up. Thank you to you as well, Neptura, for being here and standing in and making sure that we get a good eye on all the strategies that are developing across the zone. Well, I'm not going to talk anymore. We're going to leave it there. And thank you so much, everyone. Have a fantastic night. And we'll see you back again soon.